On the eve of the zombie outbreak, my cat and I hid in a meticulously modified RV. The RV was stocked with a large amount of supplies I had stored in advance. This time I will definitely live to see the finale. I suddenly opened my eyes. The familiar interior of the RV came into view. I quickly grabbed my phone and checked the time. May 20th, 2025, 9 a.m. I was actually reborn. I returned 3 hours before the zombie outbreak. On the day of the zombie outbreak in my previous life, my half-sister Meng Qingyue, in league with my fiancé Yu Jinshin, drugged me with milk mixed with sleeping pills, then stole the RV I had spent all my effort modifying, and abandoned me to fend for myself. I struggled in the apocalypse for 3 years, but ultimately could not escape the zombie attack. Meanwhile, they were living comfortably in my RV, eating and drinking without worry, living quite a lavish life. At this moment, the RV was parked in the backyard of the villa. I got out of the RV and headed straight for the house. As soon as I entered the living room, I saw a harmonious, happy family of 4 chatting and laughing. The atmosphere suddenly became a bit tense when they saw me enter. 4 pairs of eyes all looked at me with complex expressions. Sister, Yu Jinshin and I just got our marriage certificate. Would you like to have some wedding candy with us? Meng Qingyue looked at me triumphantly. Hearing this, I gritted my teeth. Yu Jinshin was originally my fiancé, the person I had loved for my entire youth. I don't know when they got together, and now they have the nerve to grin and invite me to eat wedding candy. I didn't argue with them like I did in my previous life. The priority now is to drive the RV and quickly purchase supplies. The only reason I came back here was to pick up my shui shui. I held shui shui in my arms and walked out. Go go go, you're never home. Don't come back once you leave. Meng Hanyuan, seeing my indifferent attitude, felt a surge of anger. Don't worry, I will definitely not come back. You guys take care of yourselves. Get out, I don't have a daughter like you anymore. Meng Hanyuan pointed at my retreating back and cursed loudly. Meng Qingyue on the side was full of triumph. Finally, she had driven out that annoying Meng Shiwan. From now on, everything in the Meng family will be hers. Her property, and her man too. By the time I drove to the largest mall nearby, it was already 9:28 a.m. 2 hours and 32 minutes until the zombie outbreak. Time was pressing. I pushed a small cart and ran wildly in the supermarket, attracting the attention of many employees. I first went to the fresh food section, loaded 10 pounds of lamb, 10 pounds of beef brisket, 10 pounds of pork, 10 pounds of fish and shrimp. It's not that I don't want to buy more, but the RV's refrigerator can only hold 50 pounds of meat. Then I went to the grain and oil section, loaded 10 bags of flour, loaded 10 bags of flour, 10 barrels of oil, 50 bags of edible salt. Finally, I went to the seasoning section, took some of everything from the shelves, until the shopping cart was full. I pushed the shopping cart to the checkout counter. Then I pushed an empty shopping cart and rushed back into the supermarket. This time I bought various vegetables and fruits, and some daily necessities. As I was leaving, I asked a staff member to go to the warehouse. Bring me 35 barrels of drinking water. Arrived at the checkout area. The purchased supplies have all been scanned. Swipe card to pay. At this moment, a male manager said to me very politely, "Miss, where would you like it delivered? I'll have an employee help you send it over." I pointed outside and said, "There's a pink RV outside the door. I'll trouble you with this." Soon, several attendants got busy at the same time, continuously moving things into the RV. When everything was settled, I glanced at the time on my phone. There is still 1 hour until the zombie outbreak. I quickly entered a pharmacy. No matter what it was, I swept all the medicines on the shelves. The saleswoman watched from the side, wanting to speak but stopping. Finally, she couldn't help but speak. "Miss, we have a rule. We don't allow buying so many medicines at once." I turned to look at her and said, "I'll give you 10 times the price. I want to take them away now. Can you sell them? If not, I'll ask elsewhere." The saleswoman was shocked and nodded uncontrollably. "Miss, please take whatever you want." I placed several full baskets of medicine on the glass counter. Then I took out my phone and scanned 50,000 directly. Told the saleswoman to hurry up and bag them. The saleswoman looked at the baskets of medicine. It wouldn't even cost 10,000. She immediately started bagging them efficiently. Coming out of the pharmacy, I went to the clothing store next door and bought some clothes. Finally, I went to the pet store and bought 50 pounds of cat food for Shui, and some deworming medicine. When I got back to the car, the time had already reached 11:58. I locked the car doors, prepared to welcome the apocalypse. Just then, a piercing scream sounded outside the RV. I saw a mutated male zombie on the street. Opening its mouth wide, it lunged at a woman beside it. The woman struggled a few times and quickly lost her breath, but in the blink of an eye it dragged its mangled, bloody body towards other passersby. People on the street scattered screaming incessantly. The entire city was in chaos. I watched this scene coldly through the window. In my past life I was also one of those chased by zombies. At this moment a young man rushed out of the supermarket and ran straight towards the RV. I recognized him. He was the young man who helped me move water into the car earlier. He ran to the RV and frantically pounded on the car door. His eyes seemed to see hope. Inside the RV, I looked at him expressionlessly through the window, completely unmoved. The young man looked incredulous. He couldn't understand why I would stand by and do nothing. Soon several zombies lunged at him from behind. Their sharp teeth greedily gnawed at his body. I turned away trying to avoid the bloody scene. In the apocalypse, morality and kindness will only lead to a quicker death. I held Shui in my arms. In this life those I care about are already by my side. The lives and deaths of others have nothing to do with me. Outside the RV, the young man's eyes were dull and he had already turned into a zombie. He instinctively continued to pound on the car door, making the car door bang loudly. This sound made me increasingly annoyed. I quickly went to the compartment and found a shovel. Then I opened the window and leaned out, swinging with all my might towards the zombie. Poof! The zombie's head fell to the ground with a thud. Seeing this I put away my shovel and prepared to go to the bathroom to rinse off the blood. Suddenly a mechanical voice sounded in my mind. RV system bound. Kill a zombie. Novice reward. RV permanently immune to all damage. Submit 1 crystal core. Can expand space by 1 cubic meter. My eyes widened in shock. No wonder Meng Qingyue and the others lived so comfortably in their previous lives. It turns out they got the RV system. At this moment a virtual interior view of the RV appeared before me. It showed the expandable areas. I was stunned, because any storage space could be expanded. Doesn't that mean I can collect a lot of supplies in the future? It's simply a walking energy bank. But when I thought about the expansion conditions, I couldn't help but smile. It takes 1 crystal core to expand 1 cubic meter. You must know that in the early days of the apocalypse, killing 100 zombies might not yield a single crystal core. But then again, every extra cubic meter of expansion means an extra cubic meter of supplies. For me that means an extra layer of security. The top priority now is to find a way to get crystal cores. As time went by, there were more and more zombies on the street. Some zombies were attracted by the smell of blood. They rammed the RV trying to drag me out and eat me. But this time I didn't hear any noise. As long as the windows were closed it was quiet inside. I got excited. Immune to all damage, is it that powerful? It can also block out noise. Doesn't that mean my RV is indestructible, a perfect fortress? Thinking of this my mood improved. Humming a little tune I went to the bathroom to rinse the blood off my shovel. Meanwhile Shui Shui squatted on the coffee table tilting her head, staring at me with her innocent big eyes. After coming out of the bathroom, I patted her head and said, "After we eat well go out and kill zombies." Shui Shui shook her head in disdain, a little angry. She whimpered and made cute sounds. I went to the cabinet and cooked a few frozen shrimp I had just bought at the mall for Shui Shui. Seeing the delicious food, Shui Shui immediately jumped over, her round eyes full of longing. As for me, I had fried chicken and beer. My sense of happiness was off the charts. Shui Shui, who hadn't gotten any food, protested. 5 minutes later, I served the cooked shrimp and placed them in front of Shui Shui. Shui Shui started eating with happy purrs. She let out happy purrs. I sat on the sofa, eating roasted lamb and drinking small beers, eating fried chicken and drinking iced drinks, feeling very comfortable. Outside the RV, a large crowd was fleeing in panic. They were wearing the same uniform, likely colleagues from the same workplace. At this moment someone with sharp eyes looked through the car window and saw the scene inside the RV. He was so shocked that his eyes almost popped out. In the apocalypse there are still people calmly staying in an RV, watching TV, drinking beer and feasting on skewers. This person immediately had an idea and shouted, "The car! Let's quickly get in the car to hide." The group quickly ran towards the parking lot by the roadside. However, before they could reach it, they saw a zombie in a suit not far away, smashed through the car window with a punch. Took a bite out of the driver's head. Several people's hearts trembled. It's not safe in the car either. What should we do? Hiding in the car won't work. We should hide in the house. The zombies can't get in. One person shouted. Several people ran into the mall again, passing by the RV. Seeing that I was already feasting on crayfish, they couldn't help but start to doubt. Am I not in the same world as them? After eating and drinking to my heart's content, I found that there seemed to be no zombies surrounding the RV. Logically speaking, zombies identify their direction and attack based on human scent and movement. Is it possible that the RV can also block the smell? I opened the window next to the sofa with a half-believing attitude. Instantly a zombie turned its head with a whoosh. Its movements stiff as it lunged at me. I was so scared that I quickly closed the window. And the zombie seemed to have lost its target. It was confused for a moment. And continued to look for other prey. I understand. Closing the doors and windows can block her scent. Once opened, zombies will still find me. It's past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Those who could hide have hidden. Those who couldn't hide in time have now become zombies. I roughly estimated, there are several hundred zombies on the street. And many more are wandering inside the mall. If I kill them all, if I am lucky I can get a few crystal cores. The RV the system just reminded me about can be permanently immune to all damage. So the impact damage should also be immune. Thinking of this I felt a thrill of excitement. Since the zombies can't be killed, it'll just drive and hit them. I got into the driver's seat and started the vehicle. The next second I slammed on the accelerator and rammed into the zombies. But I wasn't stupid enough to charge into a place with many zombies. Instead I circled around looking for isolated zombies to hit. As long as their heads are crushed, the zombies will die completely. Under the crushing of the wheels, the vast street became a bloody mess. Some people hiding peeked through the windows. Seeing the scene below they felt their scalps tingle. Who is this awesome person? Treating zombies like monkeys. This car is too awesome. It's been crashing for so long without even a dent. At the same time, the zombies in the mall heard the commotion and rushed to the street. I was not afraid at all. I fought back fiercely with the RV. Wave after wave of zombie hordes. 20 minutes later, the street was covered in bloody tire tracks and various zombie bodies. Seeing that most of the surrounding zombies had been eliminated by me, I slowly stopped the car. Then I picked up a shovel and opened the car door. That's right, I am going out to find crystal cores. I gripped the shovel and walked on the blood-stained street. Not far away some zombies that weren't completely dead were still wriggling. I cut their heads in half like slicing watermelons. Seeing no crystal cores I immediately moved to the next one. Those hiding upstairs were already terrified by the scene. Seeing my actions their scalps tingled even more. She's a girl. Her movements are too brutal. How can she be so calm? She's a girl. I focused on searching for crystal cores. If zombies charged during this time, I would swing my shovel and smash their heads. The act of killing had long been ingrained in my bones. As long as it wasn't a zombie horde, these individual zombies couldn't threaten me. Through my meticulous search I found 7 crystal cores. The harvest was quite good. Back in the RV, I couldn't wait to check the expansion space. With a thought a transparent view of the RV slowly appeared. The storage space was clear at a glance. But how to allocate these 7 crystal cores became a problem. The weather would slowly turn extremely hot. Food and water were the most important. Medicine was also indispensable. At that time the RV's air conditioning would run non-stop, and the gasoline for the generator couldn't be lacking. After careful consideration, I decided to first expand the cabinet storing medicine by 1 cubic meter. I clicked on the word expand marked on the transparent view. Instantly a page for selecting quantity popped up. 1 crystal core could expand 1 cubic meter. Please make a choice. I decisively chose quantity 1, and lightly tapped to confirm. At this moment the mechanical voice sounded again. Congratulations on expanding 1 cubic meter of space. All spaces are permanently preserved. I was shocked. This meant that no matter how long things were stored they wouldn't spoil. In the apocalypse this function was godlike. I immediately looked at the medicine cabinet's location, but found no change. I walked over and opened the medicine cabinet door. It was packed full of medicine, and there was no abnormality. I was full of confusion. I immediately asked, "System, where is my expanded space?" In the blink of an eye, a 3-dimensional space appeared out of thin air next to the medicine cabinet. Very sci-fi. Half believing I placed the medicine inside. At this moment I suddenly discovered that the medicine in the space could be arranged and retrieved with consciousness control. Excited I used the remaining 2 crystal cores to expand the water tank, and the remaining 4 to expand the refrigerator. After everything was done I went to the driver's seat and started the vehicle. The target was to find a pharmacy. 10 minutes later, a pharmacy appeared before my eyes. There were no zombies around the entrance. I parked the car close to the entrance forming a sealed space, thus preventing zombies from entering. Then I took my shovel and entered the pharmacy. Only after confirming there were no zombies inside did I feel at ease. I picked up a basket and went to the shelf labeled common medicines. Without time to look closely, I quickly filled it. During this time T Shui jumped out of the RV. Perhaps bored she meowed. I petted her head, telling her it would be quick. T Shui rubbed against my arm. her round eyes blinking, looking very cute. After filling 2 baskets with medicine, I decided to return to the RV first, to see how much space was left. So I called out Ti Shui, signaling her to follow. Ti Shui tilted her head as if she understood, and trotted after me, jumping onto the RV. I put the medicine into the space. Adding the previous amount, I had only used half the space. So I went back to get some non-perishable items and medicines to enhance immunity. Thus I went back and forth several times. Finally the cabinet was full. I glanced at the time and 2 hours had already passed. But I didn't feel tired at all. During that time I noticed that next to the pharmacy was a high-end outdoor equipment store. I parked the car in front of the store. I found the rolling shutter door locked from the inside. There might be someone alive inside. I didn't want to miss any opportunity to collect equipment. So I got out of the car, walked to the door and knocked hard a few times. Open the door. I'll take some things. As compensation, I'll give you a few pieces of advice for survival. The man hiding inside was named Wei Yi. The banging on the door almost scared him to death. But after hearing my words he was moved. After some thought he opened the rolling shutter door. I strode into the store and looked around. Then I said, first piece of advice. Don't open the door casually. The person you let in might kill you. Hearing this, Wei Yi stood there dumbfounded, his expression complex and bewildered. Before he could reply I asked again, do you have any cold weather suits? Wei Yi nodded. He rummaged through the shelves and found a set of heavy cold weather suits. As he handed it to me I didn't reach out to take it. Instead I told him to put it on the ground and step back. Wei Yi was confused, but he did as he was told. I squatted down to inspect it, confirmed it was fine and then said, get another set. I'll transfer the money to you later. Wei Yi said nothing and quickly walked towards the storage room. At this moment I couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Most people haven't realized the cruelty of the apocalypse yet. Otherwise this man in front of me would have first thought about how to kill me and steal my RV. Soon he placed the second set of cold weather suits on the ground. Then he impatiently questioned, where's the second piece of advice? Find a place with plenty of food and wait patiently for rescue. Wei Yi frowned. This disaster will last a long time. I didn't answer his question directly, because in my previous life I never managed to wait until the end of the disaster. I first placed the 2 sets of cold weather suits on the passenger seat. Then I took some raincoats, hiking boots, windproof jackets and windproof pants and other daily necessities. Until the storage cabinet under the sofa was completely full I stopped. After finishing, I took out my phone and transferred 100,000 to Wei Yi. And advised him, third piece of advice, don't trust anyone. Don't show kindness. Abandon your morals when necessary to survive. Wei Yi watched my retreating back, lost in thought. Then he clenched his fist and quickly followed. Hearing footsteps behind me I immediately turned around and pulled out the dagger I kept at my waist. Seeing this, Wei Yi stopped in his tracks. Then he put on a pleading look. Please take me with you. I can help you move things and fight the zombies. I could see his desperation and the survival instinct hidden in his eyes. But this is the apocalypse. Instead of gambling on whether he would betray me, it was better to cut off all possibilities from the start. I quickly jumped into the car and closed the door. The director then stepped on the accelerator and sped away. Through the rearview mirror, I saw the expectation on Wei Yi's face turn into hatred. My fists clenched again. By then the sky had darkened. But I still had to go to the supermarket to stock up on more supplies. I parked the RV at the entrance of the supermarket's loading and unloading channel. I observed my surroundings to confirm it was safe. Then I picked up my shovel and prepared to get out of the car. At this moment Ta Shui perked up her tail and slowly walked over. It seemed like she wanted to go out with me. I picked up Ta Shui and placed her on the sofa. As I stroked her head I said, wait for me obediently. It's dangerous outside. Ta Shui meowed. Blinking her big eyes and tilting her small head she lay down. As soon as I entered the channel, I saw a truck parked next to it, carrying instant noodles, snacks and the like. Not far away on the ground were stacked boxes of fruit. They probably hadn't been sent to the warehouse yet. I tightened my grip on the shovel, and as I walked inside I remained vigilant of my surroundings, in case any zombies pounced from the corners. This time the target was clear. Food. I needed to stock up on seasonings and purified water. Roar! A terrifying roar came from the corner ahead. Soon a male zombie wearing a supermarket uniform lunged at me. I dodged to the side, then fiercely swung my shovel, chopping at the zombie's head. With a thud the zombie crashed heavily to the ground. And then there was no more reaction. But this commotion attracted the attention of other zombies in the supermarket. Dozens of zombies converged on me at once. I held my shovel, with no fear of zombies in my heart. only a craving for crystal cores. I walked to the shelves and glanced at them. If I could use 2 shelves to block the aisle, leaving only a narrow gap in the middle, I could kill them one by one as they came in. This would be much easier and safer than dealing with dozens of zombies directly. But the shelves were stocked with very heavy alcohol. I pulled but couldn't move them. "Let me help you." Suddenly a girl appeared beside me. It was Lin Qian, the waitress who had helped me load goods last time. "I won't let you take me away." I shook the shelf with all my might, causing the alcohol to spill all over the floor. Then with all my strength I pulled the shelf towards the aisle entrance. 3 years into the apocalypse I had seen all sorts of human nature. I could see through this girl's intentions at a glance. Lin Qian with tears in her eyes pulled the shelf. The zombies were getting closer. She was trembling with fear, hoping only that I would change my mind. We quickly placed the shelves in position, blocking the aisle to a gap of only 1 meter wide. Dozens of zombies lunged forward with their necks outstretched, almost knocking over the shelves. Lin Qian, terrified, took 2 steps back, trembling. But her gaze kept darting towards the RV outside the aisle. Certain thoughts running through her mind. I guarded the gap, killing any zombie that came out. I also checked inside for crystal cores. During this time I glanced at Lin Qian. Her little scheme had long been seen through by me. Without looking back I said, "You can't drive the RV away. There are zombies everywhere outside. If you want to survive, find a place to stock up on food and water and wait for rescue." Lin Qian watched me cut down zombies like slicing watermelons, knowing I was not to be trifled with, and abandoned her idea. 20 minutes later, I found a clear crystal core among the pile of zombies. Although it was only one, it was better than nothing. Lin Qian, standing beside me, saw my blood-stained body and smiling face. She found the scene horrifying and terrifying. She now had only one thought in her mind: to leave quickly, otherwise there would be no good end. Lin Qian listened to my words. She found an office inside the supermarket, and frantically moved supplies into it. Her choice not to hide in the warehouse was correct, because the supplies in the warehouse would become the target of many people. At the same time I had already entered the supermarket, and dealt with 3 isolated zombies one after another. Then I locked all other entrances and exits of the supermarket, to prevent zombies from other areas from breaking in. After doing this I pulled over a shopping cart. The urgent task was to start collecting supplies immediately. I first went to the deli section. Braised dishes and fried foods were my favorites. I directly filled the cart to the brim. I pushed the shopping cart back. As soon as I entered the aisle, I saw several men in supermarket uniforms, prying open the side door of my RV. Tu Shui through the car door glass, bared her teeth and growled at them. One of the men's wrenches was already bent from prying, but the RV door remained unmoved. He was furious, and smashed the door handle a few times, but not even a speck of paint came off. Another man was even more frustrated. He smashed the glass several times, but not even a scratch was left. The men looked bewildered. Even if this RV was made of steel plates, it should have shown some dents. It was completely unharmed. At this moment someone chimed in. "I'll go get a cutting machine." I don't believe this evil. As he turned to leave, he saw me pushing the shopping cart, standing not far away, staring at them coldly. The man forced a calm demeanor and asked, "Are you the owner of the car? It's dangerous for a young girl to be alone. Come with us. We'll protect you." Seeing that I was alone, the others also breathed a sigh of relief. "Just a girl. The RV is sturdy." I sneered and said to them, "Leave my RV immediately, or face the consequences." At this moment a man in security uniform pointed at the shopping cart behind me and asked, "Did you pay for those items? I suspect you of stealing from the supermarket. You'd better open the RV door now and let us check." The man looked smug. He seemed to think this excuse had me cornered. A flicker of sarcasm flashed in my eyes. So foolish and greedy. The next second, the sharp edge of the shovel cut open the man's throat. Red liquid gushed out. The man fell to the ground with a thud. She killed someone. She actually dared to kill someone. The others were so scared they backed away repeatedly. It's the apocalypse. What does killing someone matter? If you don't leave now, you'll stay here and accompany him. Hearing this, they shivered in fear, turned around and ran into the supermarket. Watching them flee in disarray, I sighed inwardly. Currently the zombies inside the supermarket had all been cleared by me. I had food and drink and lacked nothing. As long as I waited calmly for the rescue team to find this place and take them to the base, they could live well. Insisted on jumping to me to find death. I opened the rear door, moved all the supplies from the shopping cart into the RV. After everything was done, I got into the car and closed the door and locked the car door. Treading snow jumped into my arms aggrievedly, rubbing its head against me. I patted its head and comforted it. "With me here, no one can hurt you." Then I took out a big chicken leg from the bag and put it in its food bowl. Treading Snow smelled the aroma and licked its lips. Ate with great satisfaction. I opened the refrigerator. First I put the fruits and vegetables inside into the expanded space. Then I filled it with things from the shopping cart. Then I pushed it into the space with my mind. At this time I found, even with so many things, it only took up a corner of the space. I didn't expect 1 cubic meter to hold so much. I calculated, to fill it up I would have to make 5 or 6 more trips. So I thought of the manual trolley for unloading in the aisle. It could carry a lot of things at once. Just as I was about to get out of the car, I felt my trouser leg being pulled. I turned my head. Treading Snow wagged its tail and looked at me blankly, holding my trouser leg and refusing to let go. I smiled. Sister Niu is going to collect supplies. This way we can live better in the future. Treading Snow whimpered and still didn't let go. Seeing this I squatted down and asked, "Do you want to go with me?" Treading Snow blinked its eyes and jumped into my arms. Back in the aisle, I found some plastic baskets and put them on the trolley. Then I took Treading Snow and pulled the trolley into the supermarket. The survivors in the supermarket saw me and hid in fear. Obviously what happened outside had spread. I couldn't be bothered with them. Grabbing supplies was what I needed to do. Let's go to the deli section first. All the braised dishes were packed, and a lot of cold dishes were also packed. The fried dough sticks, pancakes, sushi, and zongzi from the next stall are also essential. I took some of each. Treading Snow squatted on the trolley and watched me, not running around. Very well behaved and obedient. As I passed the dessert section I stopped. The exquisite and beautiful cakes were tempting just to look at. Take them all. In this life I will never mistreat myself. After sweeping through the dessert section, I pulled the fully loaded trolley back to the RV. At this time, next to the security guard's body, 2 zombies were diligently eating his internal organs. It must have been attracted by the smell of blood. Hearing the movement, the zombies suddenly raised their heads and lunged at me with their bloody mouths wide open. I picked up the shovel and skillfully split the heads of the 2 zombies. The movements were clean and neat. Back in the car, I continued to stuff things into the refrigerator. But this repetitive action annoyed me. If only I had spatial abilities, I could put them directly into space, without the trouble of loading them into the car and then into the refrigerator. I just sighed a little. Compared to my previous life, I am already very lucky now. In a moment, all the cooked food was put in. It perfectly filled 1 cubic meter of space. There were many desserts, filled a cubic meter and still had some left. I put it in the cabinet to eat slowly later. Then I summoned the RV's top-down view. I gave the crystal cores I just found to the 2nd floor. Upgraded the cubic meter space. Next it was a constant back and forth between the supermarket and the RV. Constantly moving. Treading Snow followed me but couldn't help much. Mainly for companionship. Survivors in the supermarket saw me coming and going freely and safely. They all ran out to forage. But they were all far away from me. Probably afraid I'd shovel off their heads. A few women gathered and whispered, "She's been moving for hours. Can the RV hold it all?" I estimated the RV was packed to the brim. Afraid there wouldn't be room to step. By the time I finished it was early morning. Looking at the full RV, I felt a rare sense of peace and satisfaction. In the cubic meter space expanded on the 2nd floor, was packed with rice. A full 1,600 jin. Eating 1 jin a day would last over 4 years. Full of a sense of security. In the other spaces on the 2nd floor, were 500 jin of flour and 50 barrels of cooking oil. And various seasonings. The refrigerator's 4 cubic meter expanded space. Besides 1 cubic meter of cooked food and 1 cubic meter of desserts. It also contained 1 cubic meter of meat and 1 cubic meter of seafood. Nearly 4,000 jin in total. The expanded 2 cubic meter pure water tank was also filled with mineral water by me. Of course drinks were also essential. Next to the cabinet were all my favorite small sodas. At this point I wasn't sleepy at all. Instead I comfortably started eating hot pot. The small pot on the induction cooker was bubbling. Meat slices and meatballs were rolling in the spicy broth, looking very tempting. Vegetables and meat slices for hot pot were arranged around. And a 6-inch fruitcake. I took a sip of iced soda. A sense of satisfaction swept over me instantly. Treading Snow's plate was full of fish and shrimp. It ate without lifting its head, looking like it was enjoying it immensely. All of this made me feel a bit dreamy and wistful. The hunger and pain of the apocalypse were still vivid. Now I had enough food for several years. And my beloved Treading Snow by my side. I ate a slice of lamb, then a plum wine, then a small cake. I never felt that happiness could be so simple and pure. After eating and drinking to my heart's content, I patted my belly with satisfaction. Washed the dishes and cleaned up the trash. Finally, I took a nice hot shower and went to sleep. I changed into my fluffy pajamas and got into bed. Lying in the soft quilt, I lifted a corner of the quilt and called out, "Baby, come to sleep." Treading Snow jumped to my side and obediently snuggled into the quilt. Its little head peeking out was very cute. I hugged Treading Snow. In the soft quilt, one person and one cat quickly fell asleep. When I opened my eyes again, it was noon. I was woken up by Treading Snow. It was lying on my chest, making it hard for me to breathe. I pushed Treading Snow off me and turned over to continue sleeping. Seeing this, Treading Snow immediately got anxious. It really needed to poop right now, but I hadn't prepared a litter box for it. Seeing that I was about to fall asleep, Treading Snow had a sudden idea, turned around and presented my butt to your face. With a poof, I let out a big smelly fart. "Ah, Ta Shui, what did you eat? Why does your fart smell so bad?" I hugged Ta Shui and rushed into the bathroom, placing it on the toilet. Ta Shui, who had just made a mistake, didn't dare to resist, clumsily stepping on the edge of the toilet to poop. Meanwhile, I quickly finished washing up, ready to go to the supermarket to find something to eat for breakfast. As soon as I entered the aisle, I discovered that the snacks and fruits that were there yesterday were gone. They must have been divided up by the survivors. I continued walking inside without a care, but to my surprise, the supermarket entrance was blocked by shelves, wooden boards, and other things. I was so angry I laughed. I cleared the zombie threat for them, and they blocked me outside instead. What a bunch of ungrateful people. Let's see how I deal with you next. I found a lot of cardboard boxes and some discarded wooden boards from the supermarket entrance, and piled them up at the entrance of the aisle. Then I found a barrel of gasoline and poured it on. I sneered, and threw the windproof lighter in my hand directly. Whoosh, the flames instantly ignited. The sky-covering fire spread throughout the aisle. At this moment, the survivors inside the supermarket saw the flames burning and were stunned. "What are you standing around for? Put out the fire. There's alcohol in the aisle. If it catches fire, none of us will survive." The dozens of survivors in the supermarket immediately panicked and quickly looked for firefighting equipment. There were already broken wine bottles from me earlier at the entrance of the aisle. Thick black smoke spread everywhere. Lin Qian stood in the corner of the supermarket's edge, watching these people frantically putting out the fire and cursing inwardly. What a bunch of idiots. They knew that person was not to be trifled with, so why provoke her? They were just asking for trouble. Fortunately, the supermarket had good fire safety measures. With the joint efforts of the survivors, the fire was finally extinguished. A group of people covered in dust and dirt sat on the ground, panting heavily. Someone complained with dissatisfaction. "I said last night not to provoke that woman. She's a ruthless killer. What's the big deal if CARSRAL lets her take some things from the supermarket? What's the big deal if CARSRAL lets her take some things from the supermarket? It doesn't affect us at all. Shut up. If she dares to kill old Wang, she dares to kill us. You'll regret it when that time comes." I agree. This woman is ruthless. We'd better find a way to drive her away quickly. Under the instigation of Supervisor Zhang Chang, a dozen strong young men quickly gathered. At this moment, it started to rain heavily. I stood outside the aisle in a black one-piece raincoat. Soon Zhang Chang appeared at the end of the aisle with the crowd. They were holding various weapons. Seeing me again, many people couldn't help but shiver. Zhang Chang rolled up his sleeves and shouted, "Everyone charge! Catch her!" Instantly, more than a dozen survivors rushed forward. But before they could make a move, sharp shovels smashed into their bodies. In just a moment, all the dozen or so survivors were knocked to the ground by me. A chorus of wails. 3 years of training have made me much stronger. These people are no match for me. I squatted beside Zhang Chang, looking at him with a very cold expression. "You just said you wanted to catch me. Why catch me, imprison me, or kill me? I was wrong. I shouldn't have blocked you outside. I just wanted you to go somewhere else. Please let me go." I sneered. "Scared now? What were you doing before?" Then I found a rope and tied Zhang Chang's hands and feet tightly along the escalator on the west side of the supermarket. I dragged Zhang Chang to the second floor. Zhang Chang was terrified, didn't know what I would do to him next. I dragged a shelf over, placed it directly in front of the stairs, then tied Zhang Chang in front of the shelf, making him face the stairs. "What are you doing? Let me go." Zhang Chang was filled with fear. I ignored him. Instead, I found a few shelf cabinets, blocking the small stairwell tightly. Then I found a shopping cart and walked to the tool room without looking back. When I reappeared, the shopping cart was full of tools. Zhang Chang, tied tightly to the shelf, was on the verge of tears. This kind of bewilderment is the most chilling kamla. I walked up to Zhang Chang, picked up a small jigsaw from the shopping cart. There were also 2 chainsaws in the shopping cart. very useful for cutting wood and boards. Seeing this, Zhang Cheng's whole body began to tremble uncontrollably, begging me over and over again. I rolled my eyes silently, carried the chainsaw to the side of the shelf cabinet at the escalator entrance. A rumbling sound, the sharp and harsh sound of the saw blade cutting through metal, drove people crazy. Zhang Cheng seemed to guess what I was going to do and went completely mad. With such a big commotion, the zombies upstairs would definitely hear it. When they break through the cabinets, I will be bitten to death by the zombies. I made a hole in the shelf cabinet, just big enough for one person to pass through. After the last cabinet was broken through, the escalator was already crowded with zombies, all attracted by the commotion here. I quickly retreated to get a larger chainsaw, tied it firmly to the shelf with a rope, placed it at a height of 1.5 meters. Some zombies rushed in through the hole. When passing the chainsaw, their entire heads were sawed off. COKSLA blood gushed out and splashed all over Zhang Cheng. Blood gushed out and splashed all over Zhang Cheng. He had already guessed. This woman wanted him to be bait. The zombies, smelling the blood, would keep coming this way. One after another they would die. A simple trap made killing zombies much easier. These were all experiences I summarized in my previous life. Next, I just need to wait for a while to clear out the dead zombies blocking the hole. Zhang Cheng's terrified screams and the chainsaw's buzzing sound echoed throughout the supermarket. Other survivors heard the sound and ran over to see what was happening. Their faces turned pale with fright. Piles of zombie limbs were stacked at the hole. Blood splattered everywhere. The scene was terrifying. I got up and walked to the shelf cabinet, threw the severed limbs and arms blocking the hole aside. Seeing me approach, Zhang Cheng immediately stopped screaming. He was about to beg me again, but then he saw me rummaging through the pile of remains, holding a zombie head in my arms. Then I exerted force and threw it to the ground. The round head instantly split into two. Zhang Cheng looked at me with a face full of horror. He didn't know why I did this. Then I smashed open more than a dozen more heads, but no crystal cores appeared. At this moment, in a claw machine store on the second floor opposite the supermarket, 2 men and 2 women were peeking at the situation outside through the gaps in the blinds. The girl with the bun hairstyle whispered, "What's happening over there?" The sound of chainsaws mixed with screams made people's hearts tremble. The man with glasses beside her frowned and pondered. "No matter what, let's go take a look. See if we can cover you while you collect some supplies." Another girl said excitedly, "With you, the chosen one, here, we can still live well even in the apocalypse." The girl with the bun hairstyle known as the chosen one was named Su Yunning. They originally came out shopping with their respective boyfriends. Who knew they would encounter the zombie outbreak? Seeing that things were not right, they immediately hid in a claw machine store, and thus escaped disaster. At the same time, Su Yunning discovered that she could freely enter and exit, a space that others could not see. She then realized that she had awakened a supernatural ability in the apocalypse, a rare space-type ability. At this moment, she was in a resource-rich shopping mall. She was ambitious and decided to make a big splash. The 4 of them quietly went downstairs and onto the street. Looking around, it was surprisingly calm, except for 2 or 3 zombie bodies on the ground. After a quick look, they didn't see a single living person. They cautiously walked towards the supermarket. As they passed a body outside the supermarket, Su Yunning's boyfriend Lin Hao suddenly exclaimed and stopped. The other 3 were startled and looked at him with confusion. Lin Hao squatted down and carefully examined the body's neck, saying, "This man is not a zombie. He was killed by a sharp weapon." Zhao Yu, another boy accompanying them, widened his eyes slightly. Was he murdered? It's only been a few days since the apocalypse. Murder was still a terrifying and shocking thing for them. Lin Hao said cautiously, "Someone among us has awakened a space ability. This must absolutely not be known to others. Su Yunning's ability can only store things, not attack. If discovered, she will be taken advantage of. Controlling Su Yunning is equivalent to controlling space. This matter must be kept secret." The other 3 nodded solemnly, realizing the seriousness of the matter. Lin Hao and the other 3 followed the scorched passage inwards, and soon reached the supermarket entrance. They quietly slipped in unnoticed. Seeing the abundant supplies in the supermarket, they were very excited, but they couldn't act yet. They had to wait until night when everyone was asleep. They hid in a secluded spot, ate something to fill their stomachs. Then, at Lin Hao's suggestion, they slowly walked towards the direction of the chainsaw sound. Upon reaching the second floor, Su Yunning and Liang Yin were instantly scared. Their faces turned pale and they held each other tightly. The 2 boys' faces were not much better. Their lips were pale and their bodies were stiff. In the distance, zombie bodies were piled up like a small mountain, and shattered heads were everywhere. Beside them, a woman in a black raincoat was searching through the heads for something. Next to her was a woman in a black raincoat, searching for something inside the skull. The buzzing chainsaw in the cave was still making noise. Zombies kept rushing out of the cave entrance and were cut into 3 sections. The man tied at the cave entrance was either dead or alive. There was no movement, Su Yuning said in a low voice. I had guessed before that it might be humans fighting back against the zombies with chainsaws. I didn't expect it to be such a scene. It was too terrifying and too bloody. Lin Hao standing beside her was filled with shock. Zombie trap. This is actually a trap to deal with zombies. Then he said with a solemn expression, we must guard against this woman. She will definitely become our biggest threat in the future. After a busy day, I only found 3 crystal cores. My luck wasn't that good. So I decided to find the warehouse first, to get something to eat for Shui and myself to fill our stomachs. I walked up to Zhang Chang, cut the ropes binding him with a small knife and said, that's all for today. Go back and rest. We'll continue tomorrow. Zhang Chang collapsed to the ground with a thud. He only had one thought now, to get out of this godforsaken place quickly. Lin Hao and the other 3 who were secretly observing hid in the bedding section on the 2nd floor. Seeing me leave, Lin Hao quietly arranged for the other 3. At around 2 or 3 in the morning, Zhao Yu, you go pull the circuit breaker. Liang Yin and I will cooperate with Yuning to collect supplies. Restore power in 10 minutes and return here. No one will notice that it was us. On the other side, I followed the signs in the supermarket and quickly found the warehouse. The warehouse was large. As far as the eye could see, the shelves were filled with all kinds of daily necessities. Further inside was a cold storage room, filled with various vegetables, fruits and meats. I found a trolley, and took some of all sorts of vegetables and fruits, both familiar and unfamiliar. Before leaving, I detoured to the freezer next to the cold storage room, and packed a lot of my favorite ice cream. After filling 2 carts, I happily pulled them back. Back at the RV, I first served some cat food for Shui. Shui was starving. She ate heartily and didn't even bother to pay attention to me. I took out the 3 crystal cores I harvested today, and used them all to expand the refrigerator space. Then I stored the collected supplies into the expanded space one by one. Fruits and vegetables each took up 1 cubic meter. Ice cream only took up a little less than half a cubic meter. Seeing that the remaining space was not completely filled, my OCD was acting up. So I decided to take the trailer to the snack street next door to take a look. It was already very late. Looking up, I could see twinkling stars in the night sky. The shops on both sides had lights on, some bright and some dim. There were scattered bodies of zombies on the road. I pulled the trailer straight to the milk tea shop. I was so craving it in my past life. I casually entered a shop and found the warehouse. I took out all the raw materials stored inside. As long as there are enough raw materials stored, I can make any drink I want in the future. Then I went to the restaurant next door for a look. I brought back a pre-packaged meal of chicken feet and crab stew from the kitchen. It would be my late-night snack tonight. Many chain restaurants now, to prevent their secret recipes from leaking, directly provide pre-packaged meals. They only need to be heated. People always say pre-packaged meals are unhealthy. Soon there won't even be pre-packaged meals to eat. I pulled the RV back to the RV, put all the milk tea ingredients into the refrigerator space. I was satisfied when it was packed full. This is my greatest joy right now. I went to the kitchen and took out a wok, opened the meal pack and poured it in to heat. I thought for a moment. Tonight I decided to have some iced watermelon. I cut the watermelon I brought back in the afternoon in half. Put it in the refrigerator to chill. When the chicken feet and crab pot were bubbling, I turned off the heat and let it simmer. I took a nice hot bath. After coming out of the bathroom, I put the dirty clothes in the washing machine, and then dried my hair. Everything is done. Dinner time. I took out my phone and opened a movie. It's a super healing pastoral food movie. I first ate a large piece of iced watermelon with a spoon. It was so cool and refreshing. Treading Snow came over wanting to eat a couple of times. I pushed its head away. Watermelon is too cold and will make your stomach hurt. The meal pack is all technology. You can't eat it. Treading Snow tilted its head. It felt like I was bullying a little kitten. Fortunately, it had already eaten its fill. I curled up in the corner of the sofa to sleep. Meal packs are unhealthy, but they are delicious. The chicken feet are sticky, and the crab meat is also fresh. In the quiet late night, I ate and watched a movie. By the time I was full, washed the dishes and went to bed. It was already past 1 in the morning. I brushed my teeth and got into bed. I hugged Treading Snow and fell asleep. Today was too exhausting. I must sleep in tomorrow. Sleep until the afternoon. But as soon as it was dawn, the RV's security alarm went off, waking me up from my deep sleep. I fumbled for my phone and looked. It was only a little past 6 in the morning. Who dared to disturb my sleep? It better be important, otherwise I am not done with you. The RV is equipped with all-round cameras. If someone passes by, it won't trigger an alarm. Only if someone lingers around the RV for more than 5 minutes a mare Kamer, or makes an aggressive move towards the RV, and the owner is in a sleeping state and doesn't notice, Kamer will sound the alarm. This RV, I installed a lot of smart electronic products back then. I turned on the monitor and looked. Good heavens. There was a circle of people densely surrounding the RV. I recognized some of these people. They were the survivors from the supermarket yesterday. I rolled out of bed, opened the window on the car door and started yelling. Are you guys crazy? Not sleeping in the morning? What are you doing gathered here? The aggressive group of people was stunned by my scolding. Then they became angry. You thief. How dare you scold us? Where did you take the supplies from the supermarket? So many supplies. You can't possibly move them all by yourself. You should have left some for us. Why are you so righteous? I opened my mouth to scold. Realizing something was wrong, he asked coldly. What's going on? The man in the lead shouted. Stop pretending. All the supplies in the supermarket were stolen last night. It must have been you who stole them. You'd better spit it out. Or we're not done with you. All stolen. Such a big supermarket. Let alone her alone. Even if 10 more people came, it would be impossible to move everything silently in one night. Unless there's a spatial ability user here. I put on my clothes and picked up the shovel. He headed straight for the supermarket. A group of survivors quickly followed behind. The anger on their faces. As if they would fight to the death if I didn't give them an explanation. The shelves in the supermarket, originally full, now so empty that not even a packaging bag could be found. The entire supermarket was looted. Cleaned out, except for a spatial ability user. No one could have done it. I really didn't expect to encounter such a rare ability user so early. And it's a spatial ability user. The apocalypse has arrived. Zombies are everywhere, but ability users are extremely rare. In the base where I lived in my previous life, there were only a few thousand ability users among hundreds of thousands of people. This shows how rare ability users are. Spatial ability users are even more precious among ability users. They are the best helpers for transporting supplies. I looked around and then at Zhang Chang. Where are the surveillance cameras? Zhang Chang explained nervously. The power went out for a while last night. We thought it was due to unstable lines after the fire. So we didn't pay attention. Then this morning we found that the supermarket's goods were gone. We went to check the surveillance footage and found that the surveillance lines were damaged. The footage after the power outage was not recorded. As expected, someone deliberately cut the power to steal the supermarket supplies. This means the other party has no combat power. Spatial ability users can only evolve teleportation when they reach the intermediate or advanced stage, or spatial blades, to have combat abilities. But if they want to steal, they steal. And then they frame her for it. They are courting death. I asked again. Who said I stole it? He did. Zhang Chang pointed to the crowd without hesitation. A young man in the crowd. Lin Hao thought. As long as he shifted the suspicion to this lone girl, they could all escape scot-free. I sized up Lin Hao and the others. Why do you say I stole the supplies? Do you have any evidence? I observed everyone's expressions. The others were all angry and fearful. Only the 4 of them showed anger on their faces. But their eyes were calm. The spatial ability user must be among these 4. Lin Hao felt uncomfortable under my gaze. But at this moment, he absolutely couldn't show any weakness. If people knew they stole the supplies, there would be no good outcome. So they could only insist that this girl stole the supplies. Lin Hao said firmly. Then we can only insist that this girl stole the supplies. Lin Hao said firmly. It was you who stole it. I saw you sneaking out of the supermarket to move supplies yesterday. I almost laughed with anger. What a clumsy explanation. Truly giving them a chance to live. They are useless. Then don't blame me for being impolite. The survivors nearby heard this, and their eyes almost popped out in fear. They were already mourning this young man in their hearts. Who did they have to provoke? Why provoke her? If this sister really wanted to move supplies from the supermarket, she would have moved them openly. What's more, how could she possibly move all the supplies in one night by herself? Without making a sound, as expected, in the next second my figure rapidly approached the 4 of them. With a asterisk poof, the shovel in my hand had already sliced across Su Yunning's throat. The comic reader Lin Hao was splattered with blood. He looked at Su Yunning in terror. Su Yunning covered her gurgling throat with both hands, her mouth opening and closing, spewing out a large amount of blood. I am not the chosen one. How could I die so easily? Lin Hao roared, holding Su Yunning. Yunning, don't leave me. You won't die. You won't. Seeing this scene, even though everyone in the supermarket was mentally prepared, their hearts still trembled with fear. We told you not to provoke her. These people insisted on courting death. No one could stop them. They really kill without a second word. If they can kill, they won't waste any more words. Under Lin Hao's terrified gaze, Su Yuning unwillingly took her last breath. The missing supplies exploded out of thin air, piling up into a small mountain. Lin Hao had unconsciously blocked that girl behind him, allowing me to find a flaw. With that brain, he still wants me to take the blame. He's simply courting death. Back in the RV, I opened a bottle of frosted cola. Gulping it down in a few mouthfuls, I instantly felt much more relaxed. For now, the supermarket shelter is no longer a place to stay. Besides the piles of zombie corpses, soon bacteria and various viruses will breed. I also need to be wary of that kid Lin Hao. He definitely won't let me off easily. After thinking about it, I opened my phone map to check. There's a farmer's market about 10 kilometers from the supermarket. This place is not bad. It's a good place to find some seeds and try to cultivate them. If successful, I can put them into the expansion space and develop it into a farm. Snowwalker, let's go. We leave as soon as we decide. I directly started the vehicle and slowly drove away from the mall. There weren't many zombies on the road. If I encountered any blocking the way, I would just accelerate and ram through them. 20 minutes later, following the navigation, I arrived at the farmer's market. But as soon as I entered the entrance, I felt something was wrong. There were densely packed vehicles parked on the side of the road ahead, crowding and blocking the road. Not good. It must be that the farmer's market fair encountered a zombie outbreak. As soon as I realized this, I immediately turned around to leave. But it was too late. The sound of the car engine attracted the attention of the zombies. In a short while, hundreds of zombies poured out from all corners, densely gathering around the RV. There were at least several hundred of them. I backed the RV up a few meters. After crushing dozens of zombies, I couldn't move back any further. The RV can withstand any damage, but its power is limited. Facing a dense horde of zombies, it's impossible to push through like a bulldozer. The zombies frantically pounded on the RV, baring their teeth, their eyes gray, looking very terrifying. At this moment, I felt my scalp tingle. It's over, it's over. I miscalculated. Ta Shui, seeing the commotion outside the window, bristled, hissing. I soothed Ta Shui and held it in my arms. Since it's come to this, I'll eat an ice cream to calm my nerves first. Then I'll turn on the monitor and watch a comedy show. Anyway, the zombies can't break into the RV. The commotion of the zombie horde attracted the attention of survivors inside the farmer's market. On the 6th floor of a building, a Mon's head quietly peeked out to observe the situation, and then quietly retracted. Du Zitao slumped to the ground and whispered, "The horde of zombies is surging towards the road. I don't know what's happening over there." The other people in the room were full of fear, afraid to make a sound. His mother spoke up, "I think I just heard a vehicle driving. Who would be coming at a time like this?" His wife chimed in, "The internet says rescue teams have been formed and are working to rescue survivors. Could it be the rescue team?" Du's father lit a cigarette. "Given our situation here, if the rescue team came, they might get trapped here too. It's tough." Their family owned a farm equipment store on the first floor of the market. That day, Du's father was alone in the store serving customers. At noon, a customer selecting farm equipment in the store suddenly stiffened, their head twisted, and baring their teeth, they lunged at him. Du's father thought the person had rabies, and in his panic, he didn't care about anything else and ran home. When he got home, he learned that the zombie outbreak had occurred. Fortunately, the whole family survived intact. Inside the RV, I looked at the situation outside, which showed no signs of improvement. I have to find a way to save myself. If I wait for the rescue team, I don't know how long it will take. I can't afford to wait. The RV does have a lot of food inside, enough for several years. But the problem is, the fuel tank hasn't been expanded, and the fuel storage is too small. If the RV doesn't run the air conditioning, it will be like a steamer inside. But if the air conditioning runs all day, the solar power on the roof won't be enough. It will require a gasoline generator for power. But the fuel storage inside won't last more than a few days. The only way out now is to fight my way out myself. Fortunately, I learned a lot in my previous life. I turned the air conditioning temperature to the lowest setting, and made sure all doors and windows were tightly shut. Then I grabbed a few barrels of cooking oil and crawled out through the sunroof. The zombies, smelling the rich scent of fresh flesh, became even more agitated, as if they wished they had wings to fly up and eat me. Some were squeezed to the ground, and other zombies stepped on the fallen ones to climb up. If this continues, the RV will eventually be submerged in the zombie horde. I used a knife to pierce the oil barrel. The cooking oil poured out instantly. I grabbed the handle and swung it hard. The oil barrel with holes scattered into the zombie horde. Then I lit a lighter and threw it out. Quickly, I got back into the RV and lowered the roof. Boom! A raging fire instantly ignited. Fueled by the oil, the fire grew more intense. The entire zombie horde was engulfed in a sea of fire. Terrifying screams echoed through the heavens and earth. I looked through the window. The entire RV was enveloped in orange flames. The car body temperature was constantly rising. I was panicking like crazy. System, you said the RV could be immune to all damage. You better not have tricked me. Don't let the tires melt. Don't let the battery explode. Don't let the air conditioning stop. If even the slightest thing goes wrong, this RV would turn into an oven right now. Half an hour later, everything inside the RV was normal. I finally relaxed. At this time, the TV was broadcasting live news. The authorities were doing their best to appease the public and reduce panic. According to my memories from my past life, even the official army was not spared by this zombie outbreak. The losses were heavy. The most effective rescue plan currently is for each city to organize its own personnel to clear out a safe base free of zombies. And bases are divided into two types. One is official, the other is private. Private bases are usually formed by chaebol, by gathering ability users, regardless of the type of base. In the absence of supplies, getting a meal requires each person to rely on their own abilities. The fire continued to burn until nightfall, but in some places glowing embers could still be seen. I guess they were too hot to touch. I decided to get a good night's sleep. I'll collect crystal cores on the third day. The next day, as soon as dawn broke, I woke up. Confirming there were no zombies around, I opened the car door. What greeted me was a sky full of black ash and a strong smell of burning. The ground was densely covered with charred corpses. I put on the raincoat and mask I had prepared in advance. I picked up my shovel and prepared to go out. Meow Ming Shui Shui's big round eyes stared at me. She wanted to go with me. I patted her head and said, "It's too dirty outside. You stay at home. Otherwise, after getting dirty, I'll have to bathe you." As soon as she heard bath, Shui Shui turned and walked away. She hated bathing the most in her life. The zombies were almost roasted into charcoal in the fire. Stepping on them made a crisp crunching sound. I walked towards the edge. Black dust swirled in the air with my footsteps. Then, like a diligent melon farmer, I swung my shovel down on the zombie heads again and again. There were thousands of zombies densely packed here. There must be crystal cores inside. It just depends on how many I find. Du Zitao, who had been secretly observing from upstairs, was getting restless. Should we go down and get some crystal cores? I saw online that these crystal cores might be very useful. His wife Chen Manning quickly shook her head. I am not going. I am afraid of getting infected. You guys should NT go either. We can do without crystal cores. But we must go down and bring up some food. The temperature announced online is increasing daily. A 5 degrees Celsius abnormal rise. Who knows when the rescue team will arrive? Taking advantage of this opportunity, multinational supplies are the most important thing. Everyone thought Father Deuce's words made a lot of sense. So they decided to take their weapons and go downstairs to move food and water. After a morning of hard work, a total of 10 crystal cores were collected. The luck was quite good. I couldn't wait to return to the RV and summon the RV's transparent view. At this moment, I was surprised to find my small fish tank can actually be expanded. I eagerly used a crystal core to expand the space of the small fish tank. Congratulations on unlocking the fish pond. The fish pond space has normal time flow. Reward, automatic water quality optimization and oxygenation. Water plant growth promotion and ecological cycle. The fish pond was filled with water. The bottom was covered with colorful stones. And some green water plants were floating in the water. I stared with wide eyes in shock. In the apocalyptic world of continuous natural disasters, the importance of sustainable production is self-evident. Excited, I clicked on the potted plant expansion again. Enter quantity 1. Click confirm. Congratulations on unlocking the farm. The farm space has normal time flow. Sunlight, nutrients, oxygen, and a series of environmental factors are normal. The soil remains moist. Instantly I appeared in a vast white space. Gentle sunlight shone down from the sky. Under my feet was moist black soil. It was only 1 square meter in size. Clearly this was a unique space. There was also a 1 square meter pool next to it, which was the fish pond I had just expanded. The fish pond and the farm had actually merged. This surprised me. I tried to walk towards the edge, tentatively reaching out to touch it, but was blocked by an invisible wall. The system prompt sounded. The farm can only bring farming-related items in. Each square meter has a limited capacity and can only be used for farming. The water resources of the fish pond and the soil of the farm are only for use within the space, and cannot be taken out. Coming out from inside, I used the remaining 8 crystal cores to upgrade the space of the sofa cabinet. These 8 cubic meters were all used to store seeds, with the farm capable of obtaining renewable resources. It was more practical to accumulate seeds directly than to have nothing. Without time to eat, I started the vehicle and drove towards the streets of the farmer's market. The vehicle stopped a little further inside the street. The ground here was relatively clean. I pulled the handcart into a seed store. The store was quite large, and the goods inside were also very complete. Grain seeds, vegetable and fruit seeds, flower seeds, and some more common medicinal seeds. I found some large boxes. No matter what seeds were on the shelves, I took them all and loaded them directly into the car. Thus one car after another. I happily and tirelessly transported them back and forth, until the space of the sofa cabinet was completely filled. Then I walked into a nearby agricultural tool store. Small hoes, sickles, small shovels and the like were also taken. Chen Manning, who was constantly monitoring my movements, said excitedly, "She's taking our family's farm tools. You thief. Stealing my things in broad daylight right in front of me." Du Zitao next to her said with a wry smile, "It's just a few farm tools, they're not worth much. We've moved things from other people's houses quite a bit." Back in the RV, I am already exhausted. I collapsed onto the sofa. Snowflake jumped up meowing. Its big round eyes were very cute. I held it in my arms and gently stroked it. Snowflake seemed to be enjoying it. Just then a roar came from the sky. I quickly looked out the window. I saw a military helicopter flying overhead. It was flying very low. The wind from the propellers kicked up dust on the ground. I frowned and muttered to myself, "It seems the official base has started to take action. I need to hurry and start the plan." The helicopter used its loud noise to attract the zombies, leading the zombies to the outskirts to be eliminated. But the real challenge of this disaster isn't the zombies. It's the natural disaster. In the extreme heat that follows, the temperature will rise to over 60 degrees Celsius. Humans suffering from heat stroke, power lines catching fire, nationwide internet outage, fires of all sizes, burning vast amounts of supplies. This is when humanity will truly be pushed to the brink. And what I need to do now is before the extreme. Hunt more zombies before the heat arrives. Obtain enough crystal cores to expand my space and stock up on supplies. How to quickly and efficiently hunt zombies became the most critical issue. My first step is to modify the RV to create a zombie harvester with extremely destructive power. Suddenly the system's prompt sounded. Pay 50 crystal cores to upgrade the RV with automatic crystal core collection function. 50 crystal cores. Are you a bandit? You mean automatic crystal core collection? Honestly, I am a little tempted. If I could drive the RV and automatically collect crystal cores, that would significantly increase efficiency. But where can I get so many crystal cores now? So I had a flash of inspiration and said to the system, "After it's installed, it'll pay you back slowly with the collected crystal cores." A moment later the prompt sounded again. "No problem, but interest will be charged. You'll have to return 200 crystal cores principal and interest." Hearing this I cursed in my heart. "You damn system, you're really black." I gritted my teeth and said, "Fine, 200 it is. Let's upgrade first. The system will complete the RV upgrade at night. It will not disturb the host's rest. Please rest assured, host." After the contract was reached, I instantly felt much more relaxed. So I decided to check out the farm. Snowflake was here for the first time. It walked cautiously to the edge of the fish pond, watching the fish swim around. I picked up a small shovel and dug small holes nearby. I want to plant my favorite tomatoes in this 1 square meter of land. Snowflake saw me busy and came over to help. I threw 2 seeds. It stepped forward and sorted them with its paws. The person and the cat cooperated very well. In a short while the work was finished. The soil had the right humidity for plants. I didn't even need to water it. After doing all this, I picked up the dirty snowflake ready. I picked up the dirty shuibao and prepared to, after going out, take a good bath. Who knew that after returning to the RV, both of us were clean. Not a speck of dirt. I immediately understood what was going on. The system said that the soil and water sources within the space could not be brought out. So it was like this. The director said it's good this way. It saves us from having to shower and change clothes every time we finish. Everything was tidied up. I hugged Shui Shui and snuggled into bed, and slept soundly. The next morning, I couldn't wait to run out of the RV to check the upgrade status. I saw that the front bumper of the car had gained 2 rows of sharp blade rollers. At the same time the system prompt sounded. The activation switch is in the driver's cabin. The crystal core collection box is under the center armrest. I went back into the car to check. Sure enough, next to the vehicle start-stop switch, there was a red button. As I pressed the button, the blade rollers in front of the car started to spin at high speed. It looked very terrifying. If I got caught in it, I'd be turned into a pulp in minutes. I couldn't wait to test its power. Where are the most zombies now? It must be the unified slaughterhouse for zombies at the official base. I just need to wait on the road leading to the slaughterhouse. And there will be endless zombies to kill. Start the vehicle. The car slowly drove out of the farmer's market. Not long after driving out, some zombies were attracted by the sound and rushed towards the RV. I let out a cold laugh. I directly activated the blade rollers. In an instant the zombies were rolled in. When they came out again they were just a pile of meat paste. I couldn't suppress my excitement. Driving this RV is simply too cool. I saw a gas station on the road. I drove in, ready to fill up both gas tanks. This gas station is self-service. Just scan the code and pay. At this moment helicopters were constantly flying overhead. Judging by the direction, I could roughly confirm the location of the slaughterhouse. After filling up with gas I immediately drove after it. Soon I got onto a national highway. This national highway had clearly been specially treated. There were no vehicles on the road. High barbed wire fences were erected on both sides. After driving for a while longer, many helicopters appeared hovering at low altitude. And below were hordes of zombies. After luring the zombies here, they returned to the city again, to continue attracting the next batch. After the helicopters left, a military vehicle with a cage appeared. The cage contained live animals. The zombies on the national highway were attracted by the flesh and blood in the cage, and were guided towards the slaughterhouse. I dare not imagine how spectacular it would be inside the slaughterhouse. I accelerated forward, the blade rollers spinning madly. One zombie after another was ground into meat paste. Inside the helicopter above, the pilot was stunned after seeing the situation below. It seemed that a pink RV had mixed into the zombie horde. And it was modified. People avoid zombies when they see them. Those who come here are probably here to collect crystal cores. Should we report it to the team? The main driver thought for a moment. Never mind, the squad should have discovered it long ago. No one stopped them probably because they couldn't be bothered. There were too many zombies to kill. Let her kill if she wants to. However, not many people know the use of crystal cores now. This person is quite clever. Likely an ability user. The co-pilot agreed. Base construction is in urgent need of ability users. When she leaves someone will probably go to negotiate with her, to ask her to join the base. After the helicopter circled twice above the RV, it flew towards the city. Inside the RV, I drove for 3 consecutive hours. My body went numb but I still couldn't find the zombie slaughterhouse. I turned the car around, stopped steadily facing the torrent of zombies. The blade roller continued to harvest zombies. To my surprise, inside the center console there was a transparent box that contained not only crystal cores, but also many pieces of jewelry. I took out the box and poured its contents onto the coffee table. Counting the crystal cores there were 25 in total. Before I could even be happy, all the crystal cores suddenly disappeared. Crystal cores obtained by the host will be returned to the system first. Currently there are 175 remaining. Hearing this I could only resign myself to fate. If it weren't for the damn system helping me modify the RV, collecting crystal cores wouldn't be so easy. During this time I didn't pay attention to him anymore. After feeding and watering Shui and watching some TV I went to sleep. The next day as soon as it was dawn, I came to check the status of the crystal core collection box. Seeing that it was full of crystal cores, I was both surprised and delighted. I immediately poured them onto the table and started counting them one by one. I actually collected 71 crystal cores. Looking at it this way, I should be able to repay the system's crystal cores by tomorrow morning. Anything obtained after that will be mine. Instantly I felt full of energy. I immediately started the vehicle. Target, zombie slaughterhouse. Today's temperature rose a few degrees more than yesterday. The air conditioning needs to run 24 hours a day to maintain the temperature. Fortunately there are solar panels on the roof, which can help alleviate my anxiety about the fuel tank. I drove slowly on the national highway eating snacks. After 4 hours, the zombie slaughterhouse slowly appeared in my sight. I climbed onto the roof to survey. At this moment, I felt the shock of made in China heavy industry. On the flat ground there were 3 round long cylindrical metal rollers. Their size exceeded 100 meters, thicker than buildings. Their surfaces were smooth, reflecting a cold metallic sheen in the sunlight. At the connection point of the 3 giant metal rollers, there was a larger circular power hub, driving the huge rollers to rotate slowly. In front of this behemoth, everything else seemed pitifully small. Dense crowds of zombies were led towards the central power hub. Wherever the metal rollers passed, zombies were crushed into pulp. Behind the rollers there was a conveyor belt that transported the zombie remains away. If I am not mistaken, they should be sent for processing and crystal core distribution. As expected of an official base, they could build such a massive, ugly and efficient device in a short time. This is something private bases cannot compare to. Back in the RV, I decided to stay here for a few days to collect more crystal cores. Wait until the fuel tank is almost empty before leaving here. The following life is very boring. Play games, pet cats, eat when hungry, sleep when tired, let the zombies outside howl all night. The main focus is to relax and lie flat until noon the next day. Not only did I pay off the 104 crystal cores I owed the system, I still have 22 left. I decisively expanded a cubic meter fish pond and a 9 square meter farm to prepare for increasing sustainable output. By the third day, the number of crystal cores reached 98, plus the 12 left from yesterday. I can now expand 110 cubic meters of space. Just as I was envisioning a beautiful future, the fuel gauge started beeping. I didn't know until I looked and I was shocked. The fuel is almost at the bottom. I didn't expect the zombie harvester to be so fuel consuming. I nimbly started the car and drove off the highway. Then I navigated to the nearest gas station. When I arrived at the gas station, I didn't rush to refuel. Instead, I first expanded each of the 2 fuel tanks by 30 cubic meters, 30 square meters. This way, with a full tank, the RV can run hundreds of thousands of kilometers without any problem. No more fuel anxiety. Plus 30 cubic meters expansion plus 20 cubic meters. In addition, the water tank must also be expanded. Expansion plus 30 plus 20 cubic meters, 30 pieces for expanding the clean water tank. Tuo ping. Expansion plus 20 cubic meters, 30 pieces for expanding the clean water tank. Expansion plus 20 cubic meters, 20 pieces for expanding the pure water tank. Development plus 30 cubic meters. Development plus 20 cubic meters, 30 pieces for expanding the pure water tank. Expansion. After filling both fuel tanks, I opened my phone's navigation, ready to find the next destination. Suddenly a helicopter rumbled from the distance and hovered above me. When it was still more than 10 meters above the ground, several figures shot out of the cabin. With a few thuds, the ground was smashed into a large pit. These people walked towards me as if nothing had happened. I frowned, feeling vigilant, body hardening. Could they be metal ability users? In the apocalypse, ability users are at the top of the food chain. Major bases are eager to recruit them. But why are these metal ability users looking for me? My name is Zhang Hanyu. I am the person in charge of official base construction. We detected that you might be a metal ability user. We are here to invite you to join the base. Hearing this, I was dumbfounded. What did you say? I am a metal ability user. Are you mistaken? Zhang Hanyu didn't believe it. The RV's metal has been strengthened to a great extent. Zombies can't even leave a mark. Even if you are not a metal ability user, you are still some kind of ability user. What conditions do you have? Feel free to mention them. We will satisfy you as much as we can. The problem is I am really not. But I can't reveal the system's affairs. So I had to pretend to be aloof and refuse. Not interested. You can leave. Seeing my firm attitude, Zhang Hanyu helplessly took out a business card and handed it to me. It has my contact information and address. If you change your mind, you can come find me. I took the business card and shook his hand symbolically. Then the group left by helicopter. But who knew that the next second, I found my hand had turned metallic. It looked very cool. I was shocked. Am I really a metal ability user? Why didn't I notice it before? I thought about it but couldn't figure it out. Whatever. Awakening an ability is always a good thing. I got back in the car and opened the navigation. At this moment, I noticed not far from the gas station, there was a water plant. This place is not bad. It's just right to fill up the water tank that was just expanded. Start the vehicle. Depart. Inside the water plant, a 5-person rescue team dispatched from the official base is advancing. This is the first mission they've undertaken since the team was formed. Their mission is to safely transfer survivors and take away the water purification equipment. Ah, zombies. Jin Chen, protect me quickly. Meng Qingyue crouched in the corner, her face pale, looking like a delicate flower battered by the storm. The screams quickly attracted the attention of the surrounding zombies. Grinning, they all rushed towards them. The other 4 were so angry they wanted to curse. Although they are all ability users 24, they are all low-level abilities. 24. It's fine to deal with a dozen or so zombies. But now hundreds of zombies are rushing towards them at the same time. They can't handle it at all. But the few of them can't abandon Meng Qingyue, because she is a rare spatial ability user. They will need her to collect the equipment later. Ji Yujin Chen's face was grim. He activated his ability and threw out ice arrows. But after knocking down one batch of zombies, the next batch immediately rushed up. They were endless and could not be killed. Dao Yarong, standing beside him, cursed loudly. What are you yelling about? What the hell are you yelling about? Are you tired of living? If you don't want to live, don't drag us down. We don't want to die yet. Ji Yujin Chen remained silent. He was also fed up with Meng Qingyue. It's a matter of life and death and she's still dragging them down. She's really stupid. Meng Qingyue was furious after being scolded. Do you know who my father is? How dare you speak to me like that? You won't have a good life after we get out. And I am a rare spatial ability user. The higher-ups said that even if you all die, I cannot die. After the zombie outbreak, Ji Yujin Chen awakened his ice ability. Meng Qingyue awakened her spatial ability. Later her father Meng Hanyuan obtained a position as head of the logistics department. By donating supplies to the official base, he was mainly responsible for the allocation of logistics resources for the base. It can be said that he had considerable influence within the seed base. Ordinary people would be polite to him. Dao Yarong gritted her teeth. So you really intend to let us die? If we die you can walk out alive. Meng Qingyue couldn't argue with her. She then whined and called out to Ji Yujin Chen. Look, she's bullying me. Aren't you going to say anything? Ji Yujin Chen didn't want to deal with her. He wondered what kind of person he had married. If it were Meng Shiwan, such a thing would never have happened. Ji Yujin Chen suggested. We can't keep dragging this out. We must retreat, otherwise we'll really be dragged to death here. Dao Yarong was filled with anger. Look at your good wife. Why don't you let her stand up and walk? If she continues to cause trouble like this, I won't wait here to die with her. Ji Yujin asked Meng Qingyue. Can you stand up and walk? We can't stay here. Meng Qingyue whimpered. I am so scared, my legs are weak. I can't stand up. If you can't stand up, let her die here. Dao Yarong and two other teammates retreated quickly without looking back. Seeing this, Meng Qingyue stood up with a whoosh. What are you doing? Are you really going to let me die here? Ji Yujin suppressed the urge to throw Meng Qingyue to the zombies and shouted. Stop beeping. Follow me quickly. Seeing that everyone had abandoned her, her legs were no longer weak, and she was no longer afraid. She followed closely behind Ji Yujin. The five of them fought against the zombies while breaking through towards the factory door along the wall. The situation was not optimistic. Lei Jie released his last lightning bolt and said heavily, my abilities are exhausted. We can only fight our way out. And Jiwen also said heavily, same. We don't have many bullets. They will run out soon. Then he seemed to think of something and asked, Ji Yujin, doesn't Meng Qingyu's space allow people to hide? If we really can't fight our way out, we can hide in Meng Qingyu's space first, and then think of other solutions. Before Ji Yujin could speak, Meng Qingyue behind him snorted coldly. You abandoned me earlier and retreated, and now you want to enter my space? Dream on. The three of them had grim expressions. How did they end up with such a stupid teammate? What terrible luck, Ji Yujin said in a deep voice. Qingyue, we are teammates. They stayed behind to protect you. You can't do this. Meng Qingyu's tone softened. Okay, Jinshin Gerger asked. I'll reluctantly let them into the space. I'll settle the score with them when we get back to the base. They almost lost their lives here to protect you. And you still want to settle the score with us? I'll fight you to the death. Dao Yarong aimed her pistol at Meng Qingyue. Just then, a rumbling mechanical sound attracted the attention of several people. They looked in the direction of the sound and saw a pink RV slowly driving towards the factory door. The RV had rapidly rotating blade rollers at the front, sweeping away zombies one by one. Dao Yarong quickly took out her flashlight and flashed it towards the RV, trying to get the owner's attention. Ji Yujin, who was beside her, had a complex expression upon seeing the RV. Meng Qingyue was surprised and hostile. Meng Shiwan, she's not dead? Why is she here? Inside the RV. I noticed the situation here long ago. I didn't want to meddle at first, but seeing the zombies gathered together, I couldn't help but go and harvest them. I drove the RV to the factory entrance and plunged directly into the zombie horde. I stopped and waited quietly for the blade rollers to shred them all. The zombies have been cleared out. The people who were blocked slowly appeared before my eyes. Ji Yujin and Meng Qingyue. What a coincidence. Thinking of their actions in my previous life, a surge of anger rose within me. Meng Qingyue saw the wrong look in Ji Yujin's eyes. She punched him. What are you looking at her like that for? Can't you let her go? Ji Yujin couldn't take it anymore. Are you done throwing a tantrum? You almost got us killed. If it weren't for Meng Shiwan, we would all die here. How can you not forget your ex-girlfriend? Now you think she's better than me in every way. You weren't like this when you were with me behind her back. It's that explosive? The trio watching from the side were already numb. They didn't expect such a huge scandal. Meng Qingyue pointed at the RV and cursed. Meng Shiwan, it's the apocalypse, how can you still have the nerve to follow Ji Jinshin around? We're already married. He's my husband now. You'd better stop being so infatuated. Ji Jinshin felt very ashamed at this moment. He went to pull Meng Qingyue. Enough. When are you going to stop making a scene? Meng Qingyue was furious. What's your attitude? Are you speaking up for her? I am telling the truth. She must have known your news. And came here specifically to find you. Everyone knows Meng Shiwan loves you madly. At the same time, I got off the RV with my shovel and walked towards Meng Qingyue. The next second, I swung my fist hard at her Jian face. Meng Qingyue flew out 2 meters with a whoosh and hit the ground heavily. Her eyes were full of shock and disbelief. A cold smile tugged at the corner of my mouth. The metallic glow on my right hand slowly faded. The 3 onlookers were shocked at the same time. Metal ability user. She's actually a metal ability user. Then the 3 of them looked smug. So satisfying. Finally someone can deal with that bitch. Ji Jinshin looked at Meng Qingyue, who had a swollen face like a pig's head and had fainted. His eyes were full of indifference. Then he walked up to me with a look of deep affection. Meng Qingyue and I were just a marriage of convenience. The person I truly love has always been you. If this were before the apocalypse, his insincere words would surely have made me so happy that I couldn't sleep for days. But now hearing them makes me want to vomit. I aimed at Ji Jinshin's head and swung the shovel I was holding tightly. With a bang, Ji Jinshin was instantly stunned. He couldn't stand steadily swaying. My face was grim, my eyes filled with murderous intent as I stared at the 2 of them. You scumbags. I'll kill you today. Ji Jinshin felt a chill in his heart and realized something was wrong. He instinctively blocked with his arm, instantly getting a large gash. The shovel swung again, but Meng Qingyue suddenly pounced over, activating her spatial ability and making Ji Jinshin disappear instantly. I put away my shovel feeling regretful. Such a good opportunity and they actually escaped. I put away my shovel with a sigh. Such a good opportunity and they actually let them escape. Meanwhile, I once again noticed something strange about my body. This feeling was exactly the same as when I awakened my metal element ability. I tentatively tried. The next second, the shovel in my hand instantly disappeared. My eyes lit up. I immediately used my mind to investigate. The shovel reappeared. Then I used my mind again to try to take an ice cream cone from the refrigerator space. The next second, the ice cream cone actually appeared in my hand. Space ability. I couldn't believe it. I actually awakened a space ability. And it's connected to the interior space of the RV. From then on, when collecting supplies, I won't have to haul them by the truckload. I can just use my ability to put them into the space. Lei Jie almost thought he was seeing things. Space ability. Didn't she have a metal element ability? Dual ability user. A dual ability user even rarer than the rare space ability user. None have appeared in the base yet. Dao Yarong exclaimed in shock. On the other side, after thinking for a moment, I used my mind again. An ice arrow indeed condensed in my palm. Ice element ability. She's a triple ability user. The 3 onlookers were stunned, thinking they had encountered a great figure today. The next moment, I suddenly appeared in front of Dao Yarong and asked with a smile. Beautiful girl, what is your ability? Dao Yarong flattered quickly replied. I have a wood element ability. I extended my hand. Nice to meet you. Dao Yarong quickly clasped my hands and said excitedly. It's nice to meet you too, great figure. Are you really a triple ability user? I smiled without saying a word, and conjured an ice cream cone, handing it to her. It's hot. Dao Yarong quickly took it. Thank you, great figure. Then I looked at Jiwen beside her, and extended my hand asking with a smile. What about you, handsome guy? Jiwen immediately extended his hand, shook mine and said excitedly. Sister, I don't eat ice cream. Dao Yarong slapped him. Who asked if you wanted ice cream? Sister is asking what your ability is. Oh, I have an earth element ability. Jiwen looked embarrassed. I handed him a bottle of iced cola. It's hot. If you don't want ice cream, have some happy water. Jiwen quickly took it, thanking me and bowing repeatedly. Lei Jie was quite clever. Before I could ask, he stepped forward and shook my hand. Great figure. My name is Lei Jie. I have a lightning element ability. I nodded and said to the 3 with a smile. I have a bit of a bad temper. I hope you can keep today's events a secret for me. Dao Yarong quickly assured me. Don't worry, great figure. We only saw what happened between Meng Qingyue and Ji Jinshin. We know nothing else. The strength of a 3-element ability user coupled with decisive and ruthless actions. This woman before me will surely achieve great things in the apocalypse. Dao Yarong and the other two immediately expressed their stance. Boss, what are your plans next? If there's anywhere you need people, please remember us. We're willing to follow the boss. I casually agreed and walked into the tap water plant. Watching my departing back, the three of them muttered. 3 element abilities. So enviable. Hope the boss has a use for us in the future. At this moment I looked at the lightning flashing in my palm and sneered. I am not some 3 element ability user. I am now a 6 element ability user. And my true ability is actually the replication ability. As long as I've had contact with the other party, I can copy their abilities and make them my own. I walked around the pool carefully inspecting it. I confirmed that the water source here was clean. It hadn't been contaminated by zombies. I put my hand into the pool and activated my will. The clean water tank and the purified water tank were instantly filled. Then with a slight movement of my will, the next moment I appeared in the RV. Shui Shui was startled to see me suddenly appear. She clearly couldn't understand what was happening. I went to the driver's seat and opened the crystal core collection box. Counting them, there were 12 in total. Expansion plus 12 meters. I decisively upgraded the clean water tank with all of them. Reached the water plant expansion plus 12 milliliters. Must draw more water before leaving expansion plus 12 meters. Must draw more water before leaving plus 12 meters. Then I wanted to use my will to return to the plant to fill the newly expanded 12 cubic meters of space. But I found that I couldn't. It seems I can only return to the RV from the outside. I can't go from the RV to the outside. Helplessly I had to walk over again. The 3 people still waiting in the same spot saw me come out of the RV very surprised. Good heavens. The boss has already learned to teleport. So awesome. Dubao AI life. Seeing the 3 still there, I asked, why are you still here? Dao Yarong quickly explained, we're waiting for Meng Qingyue and Ji Yu Jinchen. Hearing this I raised an eyebrow. Will those 2 come out from here? Yes. Meng Qingyue can't teleport. They have to come out from where they went in. After we wait for them to come out, we still have to continue the mission. I see. Then I showed a sinister smile and said to the 3, aren't you still looking for survivors? You go first. It'll help you keep watch here. I sat on a nearby step, cracking melon seeds and playing on my phone. About an hour passed. The scumbag and his slut finally came out of the space. My eyes were quick. I swung my shovel and slashed towards their throats. But who knew Meng Qingyu's reaction was quite fast. She instantly activated her ability and the 2 disappeared again. We waited like this until evening. The 2 of them didn't come out of the space again. It's not a solution to keep wasting time with these 2 shrinking turtles. The outdoor temperature is now close to 50 degrees. It's unbearable. It'll kill them next time I get the chance. I got up and walked towards the RV. Back in the RV, I took a cold shower first. Changed into some more refreshing clothes. The weather will only get hotter from now on. I don't want to go out anymore. I've decided to find a place to lie flat. 20 minutes later, I parked the RV steadily on the national highway. The blade roller ceaselessly reaped the zombies. Then I took Shui Shui into the farm, wanting to test the abilities of my wood element powers. Shui Shui really liked it here. As soon as she came in, she was incredibly happy and frolicked everywhere. Wood element powers can control plants and also catalyze plant growth. I squatted on the ground, attempting to use my mind on the tomato seeds. The powers within me slowly released. Under the catalysis of the wood element powers, the tomato seeds grew rapidly. In the blink of an eye they grew to about 10 centimeters. Until my powers were completely depleted. The tomatoes also stopped growing. I frowned. Based on my understanding from my past life, power levels are divided into 10 grades. The higher the grade, the stronger. I am probably between grade 1 and 2 now. Too weak. If I were to force the growth of all the plants on the farm, I would probably only be able to make them grow into seedlings. But in my past life there were rumors that the base was researching a powerful ability enhancement liquid. This liquid could awaken powers in ordinary people and increase the power levels of those who already had powers. After thinking for a moment, I asked the system, do you know about ability enhancement liquid? Ability enhancement liquid, 100 crystal cores per bottle. Ability replenishment liquid, 50 crystal cores per bottle. Ability replenishment liquid, after your abilities are depleted, taking it can quickly replenish and restore your abilities. Both are good things. The base couldn't even figure it out in 3 years of the apocalypse in my past life. And the system actually has them for sale here. If this news got out, I estimate that all ability users would go crazy for it. But speaking of which, this is too expensive. Right now the collection box has at most 20 to 30 cores. I thought about haggling with the system again. But before I could speak, the system's urgent prompt sounded. Alarm. The RV is under attack and locked on. It may tip over in the upcoming explosion. Are you willing to spend all your crystal cores for protection? Under attack and locked on. After reacting, I quickly looked out the window. I saw a helicopter hovering above the RV in the night. A man was standing at the boarding gate, fiddling with a huge bomb bag. My heart leapt in surprise. I immediately shouted to the system. I am willing. Crystal cores can be saved again if lost. If the RV tips over, that would be troublesome. The next second, a huge bomb bag fell from the sky. Flames and thick smoke completely engulfed the RV. Even the surrounding zombies were blown away, followed by 2 more loud bangs. Huge flames ignited on the national highway, accompanied by rolling smoke. Inside the helicopter, the man standing at the boarding gate laughed. Such a small fry. Do we really need to kill him? The organization is making such a big fuss. It's like using a butcher's knife to kill a pig. The Shami organization is a small force within the official base. They search for supplies and kill zombies. It's a benevolent organization, but if there's a job to kill someone, I'd go to them. As long as the price is right, they'll take the job too. The pilot chuckled. There's nothing we can do. They offered way too much. They said as long as we can take care of this person named Meng Shiwan, they'll give us a small granary. Who could refuse that? The sooner we kill them, the sooner we can report back. Don't worry, it's a sure thing. A mere low-level gold element ability user definitely can't withstand the power of those explosives. The pilot smiled. That's good then. Record a short video of the scene. Well, head back to report immediately. The man took out his phone and pointed it downwards. Suddenly his brow furrowed. The more he looked, the more something felt wrong. On the bumpy national highway, the RV was parked steadily. Not even the glass was broken. Impossible. Even if she reinforced the RV, she couldn't possibly withstand this dosage of explosives. The man was filled with disbelief. The next second, a woman was seen leaning against the front windshield, giving him the middle finger. The man's face turned pale with anger. He immediately picked up the explosives, preparing for a new round of bombing. Inside the RV, I shouted at the system. System, do you have any weapons for sale? The system's voice sounded, but you don't have any crystal cores. Give me a powerful weapon. I want to kill that helicopter. I'll owe you the crystal cores for now. I'll repay double later. The weapon store has been opened. Please select it yourself, host. Crystal cores will be deducted automatically later. Instantly a virtual screen appeared. Various weapons on it, like an arms dealer. From small handguns and grenades, to medium-sized planes and tanks, to large missiles and nuclear bombs. It made my eyes dizzy. Finally, after filtering, I chose an RPG smart tracking rocket launcher priced at 150 crystal cores. I immediately hugged the RPG and climbed onto the RV. After locking onto the target, I pressed the button. With a whoosh, the rocket flew rapidly towards the helicopter. Danger! The pilot reacted quickly. He immediately controlled the direction and turned the aircraft. However, it was meaningless, because I was using the most advanced smart tracking rocket launcher. Then with a loud bang in the sky, the helicopter instantly exploded, like a brilliant firework illuminating the land. Back in the RV, I carefully reviewed the events of the day. I had just beaten up that scummy couple during the day, and at night someone came to take my life. I didn't even need to think to know who was behind it. I can't wait to go to the base now, and kill those 2 bastards. But thinking about the 300 crystal cores I still owe the system, I have to hold back for a few days first. After repaying the crystal cores, I'll buy an ability enhancement potion to try. Then I'll go to the base for revenge. Inside the base, on the rooftop of a factory in the suburbs, the rooftop of a factory in the outskirts. The setup is very luxurious. This is the headquarters of the Killers organization. The man lying on the sofa eating raw food and drinking red wine at this moment is the founder of the Killers organization. At this moment, a man rushed in. Boss, we have news. Killers. Yao Feng takes a sip of red wine. He enjoys it immensely. The man replied with a look of panic. He was killed in return. Yao Feng, who was drinking red wine, trembled. All the red wine went into his nasal cavity. The boss, upon learning the truth, immediately decided to send the most powerful Esper in the base. Where is Shen Peng? Send him. Take weapons. No matter what, we have to kill this person named Meng Shiwan. Shen Peng is a speed-type Esper, and is also a level 3 Esper. He is the most powerful in the Killers organization. Yao Feng spent a lot of money back then to invite him to join the organization. I don't believe this woman, no matter how capable she is, can stop an all-out assassination by a speed-type Esper. Until the 4th day, I finally paid back the 300 crystal cores I owed the system. There are still 202 remaining, so I decisively summoned them all, and bought 2 Esper enhancement fluids. 200 crystal cores disappeared from the desktop. 2 small milky white long cylindrical glass bottles appeared. The bottles are very small. They are thin and small when held in the hand. The milky white liquid inside seems to shimmer. Without hesitation, I drank it all down. The liquid spread throughout my body. I could clearly feel it transforming into immense energy that filled my entire body. As for what level my Esper abilities would reach, I would only know by trying. So I decided to set off immediately and head to the base. I was driving my RV on the outskirts. I could see thick smoke rising from the city from time to time. With a temperature of 60 degrees, fire hazards were easily caused. This was just the beginning. At this moment I passed by a commercial street. Looking around, most of the shops sold clothes or bedding. I opened the collection box. I had accumulated 5 crystal cores along the way. Adding the 2 remaining from this morning, I had 7. I parked the RV on the side of the street and summoned the RV's X-ray view. All 7 crystal cores were used to upgrade the wardrobe space. Bedding and clothes were not in great quantity. Now that I encountered them, I would stock up on some more. Just as I was about to get out of the car, suddenly there was a loud noise. It was the sound of a bullet hitting the glass next to me. Although the glass did not break, I could clearly feel the power of a bullet fired from a powerful sniper rifle. I looked outside through the window and coldly observed every corner of the surroundings. Shen Peng, hiding in the street corner, was now aiming his sniper rifle. His eyes were wide open and his face was full of disbelief. No way. The sniper rifle couldn't penetrate the window glass. Isn't she a metal element Esper? She should be able to reinforce glass. This person is indeed strange. Then I can only confront her directly and kill her with my Esper abilities. Shen Peng was very confident in his Esper abilities. There were only a few level 3 Espers in the entire base. And he was a special speed type Esper. Shen Peng threw the sniper rifle in his hand to the side of the road. Shouted in front of the car, "Get out, let's have a one-on-one fight." Since the other party is already standing in front of the car, it would be rude of me not to do something. So I started the car and charged at him. But the man in front of the car was like an afterimage. Disappeared in an instant. I frowned. Speed type ability user. This is rare. So I decided to get out of the car to meet him. One is that I want the other party's speed ability. Second, I also want to test my own strength after drinking the strength after 2 ability enhancement potions. I stopped not far from Shen Peng. Said indifferently, "Who sent you? When you are about to die, I will tell you everything you want to know." Shen Peng's mouth already curved into a smile of victory. He lunged forward and pounced on me, so fast that even afterimages couldn't be captured. But before his dagger could touch my throat, I felt a chill in my chest. He looked down. A slender metallic arm was inserted into his chest. With a slight force, his heart could be crushed. How is this possible? She's actually faster than me. Looking at his shocked face, I said softly, "Your speed is really too slow. Speak. Who sent you?" Shen Peng gritted his teeth. He now only hopes that Yaofeng will show some mercy. Take care of his family. Seeing this, I snorted coldly and exerted force in my palm. With the sound of a heart bursting, Shen Peng instantly lost his strength and collapsed on the ground. Looking at my red metallic, gleaming arm, I smiled. Copied another new ability. It seems that 2 ability enhancement potions are really effective. When leaving, I collected the equipment from the man. A heavy assault rifle, a pistol and thousands of bullets. They should be useful later. Then I took Shui Shui into a sports brand store. Inside were down jackets on special clearance. More were spring and summer clothes. I didn't care if they looked good or not, as long as they were my size. I put them all into my space. I didn't let go of the shops next door either. I swept through them all. Only when my 7 cubic meters were full did I stop. Around 5 p.m., I drove to the outskirts of the base. The edge of the base was surrounded by high electric fences. A long queue was waiting for inspection at the entrance. Otherwise, if an infected person entered the base, the entire base would suffer. The queue was divided into 2 teams. One team was for pedestrians, standing under the sunshade built on the roadside, still sweating profusely in the heat. Some people were using small fans to cool themselves, but it was useless in the face of 60-degree heat. The other team was for those arriving by car. Looking up, there were all kinds of vehicles. The cars had air conditioning. It was a little better than those standing outside. I joined the queue behind the car team. The modified pink RV stood out. Inside the RV, I controlled the car while drinking iced cola, moving slowly with the team. At the same time, a bald man was in the RV. His eyes were gloomy and greedy. The man beside him whispered, "This RV is a good thing. Do you think I don't know it's a good thing? Follow her to the base. She's just a little girl. Can't we do anything about her?" The 2 looked at each other. A wicked smile appeared on their faces at the same time. More than 10 minutes later, a staff member in a fluorescent vest was holding a small yellow flag, guiding me to drive the RV into an automatic car wash and park it. I got out of the car with shui shui. The strong smell of disinfectant rushed into my nostrils. It seems that the automatic car wash uses disinfectant to disinfect the zombie virus on the RV. As soon as Shui Shui got out of the car, she started panting with her tongue out from the heat. I secretly conjured some frost in my palm and placed it on its head to cool it down. I followed the instructions on the sign next to me and walked into a small glass room next to it. As soon as I stood still, the door automatically locked. Then water mist for disinfection was sprayed from all directions. After disinfection, I followed the sign and walked into a smaller room further inside. The air conditioning was on inside. It was much cooler than outside. A woman in a protective suit was sitting behind the glass counter, wrapped in white clothes, pulling up her sleeves, revealing her arm. Her voice was very cold, and even with a hint of impatience. Blood test is to check if there is any zombie virus invasion in the body. I went through this process many times in my previous life. I did as the woman said. Soon a tube of blood was drawn. She told me to wait for the results on the side. It will be ready in a few minutes. I sat there bored waiting for the results. Shui Shui was looking around curiously, her face full of curiosity. An urgent alarm sounded. The girl in the protective suit suddenly stood up, looking at me with horror. I immediately felt something was wrong. This machine usually doesn't make a sound, unless there is a major event. At the same time, the woman's even more horrified voice sounded. You are an Esper. As expected, this machine can detect the zombie virus, and it can also detect the fluctuations of psychic energy in the blood. I nodded faintly. Unexpectedly, the other party's even more horrified voice sounded. You are a level 5 Esper. You know the entire base currently doesn't even have a level 4 Esper. Now there is a level 5 Esper. How could she not be shocked? Espers are divided into 10 levels. Levels 1 to 3 are low-level Espers. Levels 3 to 6 are intermediate. Levels 7 to 9 are advanced. Level 10 is the maximum level. Each level jump is a chasm. I was also very surprised. This machine can actually measure levels. After drinking 2 bottles of Esper enhancement fluid, now I am a level 5 Esper. If that's the case, the Esper enhancement fluid, which costs 100 crystal cores per bottle, it's quite cost-effective. Looking at the excited girl inside, I said faintly, "Can I go now?" The girl became much more enthusiastic. I wish you a happy life in the base. Looking at my retreating back, her eyes were full of admiration. I carried Shui back to the car. The car started and entered the next room. At this moment, a man in protective clothing with a sprayer on his back walked up and said, "Car interior inspection and disinfection." As soon as the man stepped onto the RV, a blast of cold air hit him. He obviously froze for a moment, but was even more shocked when he saw the scene inside the RV. Snacks and daily necessities were everywhere. He opened the refrigerator. It was full of iced soda and iced fruit. Heaven knows how tempting iced things are in extreme heat to humans, he said, wiping the disinfectant spray gun. The interior of the vehicle has been inspected. No problem. You can pass. I continued to drive forward following the instructions. On both sides were flat parks, but the plants in the park were already dry and yellow. Looking into the distance, there was a city with high-rise buildings, but now everything inside had changed. Just as I was about to start the car, I suddenly found a large circle of people gathered in front of the car, all with enthusiastic smiles. I was a little stunned for a moment, but I quickly saw a familiar face in the crowd. It was the gold element ability user who jumped off the helicopter and invited me to join the base construction team. I got out of the car and walked up to Zhang Hanyu and asked, "Do you need something from me?" Zhang Hanyu said enthusiastically, "Last time I invited you to join our team. How have you considered it? Food and accommodation are provided. Single rooms with air conditioning. And you'll get paid." Seeing him talking more and more, another man pushed him aside and smiled at me. "Join our rescue team. We'll offer you triple the salary on top of his." I understood. I had just had my blood tested, and the news had reached the base's high command. These people were here to poach me. I said with a faint smile, "You should know what I am here at the base for, right?" The voices stopped abruptly. Their eyes darted around, but they didn't say anything. "If any of you help me kill Meng Qingyue and Ji Yu Jinshin, I'll join your team, and I don't need a salary." The crowd became even more silent, not to mention the identities of Meng Qingyue and Ji Yu Jinshin. Both families were quite wealthy, and had contributed greatly to the base construction. The elders of both families held important positions in the base, with considerable status. even if the two didn't have such backgrounds. One had a rare space ability, and the other had an ice ability. They couldn't kill them. To win over a level 5 ability user, Zhang Hanyu leaned over and whispered, "Join my team, and do whatever you want. I never interfere with my team members' private lives." The other few people stared at Zhang Hanyu with wide eyes, and chimed in, "Yes, yes, yes. We highly respect our team members' private lives. We will never interfere." I spread my hands. "Then there's nothing to discuss. Please move aside. I am leaving." Seeing my resolute stance, they had no choice but to clear the way for me to leave. Not far away, several men were squatting in the withered green belt of the park, constantly observing the situation on the road. "Boss, something's not right. Those people don't look like ordinary people. What are they saying? Doesn't that young girl have connections in the base?" The bald man thought it unlikely. If she had connections, would she be standing on the main road in this heat talking for so long? There must be something going on inside her RV. These people are here to interrogate. If my guess is correct, that RV is so big, it must be carrying a lot of supplies inside. The eyes of the other men immediately lit up. "Boss, if we get this RV, we can not only enjoy the air conditioning, but we won't go hungry either." The bald man wiped the sweat from his head and said, "Follow them. Observe the situation first, then act when the opportunity arises." Xiaomi Organization Headquarters. Yaofeng was doing push-ups in shorts, his muscles bulging. At this moment, a subordinate nervously approached him. "Boss, Shen Peng He." Yaofeng put down the equipment and wiped the sweat from his forehead, saying, "It's good that he's dead. No need to report to me." Seeing his confident look, the subordinate moved his lips and whispered, "Boss, Shen Peng is dead." Yaofeng picked at his ear, his face grim. "What did you say? Say that again." The subordinate felt like crying. "Someone just saw a pink RV enter the base. It looks very much like our target. Later we investigated and found out that Shen Peng's assassination failed, and he was killed in return." Yaofeng's eyes instantly turned red with rage. Shen Peng was a speed-type level 3 ability user. How could he be killed by a woman? The subordinate shrunk his neck and continued, "According to the base's blood tests, the target is a level 5 ability user." Hearing this, Yaofeng slumped onto the sofa. "I didn't expect that the First Order the Xiaomi organization took would be such a tough opponent." The subordinate tentatively asked, "Are we still going to kill her?" Yaofeng gritted his teeth. "We must kill her. Send people to keep an eye on her first. Don't act rashly. Find a good opportunity for a decisive blow. This is not just about the order. It has escalated to a personal vendetta." Yaofeng thought about it and got angrier. He stood up and walked out. The subordinate followed closely behind. "Boss, where are you going? Damn it. The client provided us with incorrect information, causing us heavy losses. I am going to settle the score with him." In the base hospital, Meng Qingyue was raging in a single ward. How could she be a level 5 ability user? Absolutely impossible. The last time we fought, she was clearly still a level 3 ability user. I knocked out a few of Meng Qingyue's teeth. She spoke with a lisp, but she was still cursing loudly. She couldn't accept this fact. Even less could she accept that I was stronger than her. She said to herself fiercely, "So what if she's a level 5 ability user? I have plenty of ways to kill her." I parked my RV on the roadside in front of the registration hall. Anyone who wanted to live in the base had to come here to collect their new ID card. Getting out of the car, I activated my ice ability and condensed it around myself. A layer of frost dispelled the surrounding heat. The hall was also hot. People in line were sweating profusely. The entire hall reeked of sweat. After more than 10 minutes, I handed over my ID card and said, "I don't need a residence. Just arrange a shaded parking spot for me." Soon, the staff handed me the completed base residence permit. Seed Base High District, GNU Community Ground Level Parking Spot 809. By the time I arrived at the community, it was already dark. The community was built next to a park. There was a large lake in the park. The overall environment was quite nice. I parked the RV in the spot. The parking spot was very wide. There was also a sunshade installed above. In the dark corner, the bald man who had been secretly following them spoke. "Based on my observations along the way, we can rob her." His subordinate looked confused. "Boss, what have you been observing all this way? You don't know anything. First, we can be sure she has no backing and no abilities. People with backing wouldn't live in assigned housing. People with abilities are even less likely to live here." The other men got excited when they heard this. "Ha ha ha, boss, when do we make our move?" The bald man looked towards the RV. "We'll make our move after that woman falls asleep." Inside the RV, treading snow, and I had dinner and didn't wash up to sleep. Instead, we were playing games on the sofa. Before we knew it, it was 1 a.m. The men crouching in the corner were hot and sleepy. They were starting to lose their resolve. One man said weakly, "It's already 1 a.m. Why isn't this person asleep yet? Should we just make a move? She's alone anyway." The bald man wiped the sweat from his forehead. The men carrying tools walked towards the RV. Just then, the lights inside the RV suddenly went out. The bald man was excited. Good heavens, she's finally going to sleep. This is truly heaven sent. But soon the men realized that, no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't pry open the car door even a crack. The bald man got angry. He swung his muscular arms and smashed a sledgehammer directly at the glass. But the glass didn't break. He himself was bounced back several meters. The bald man sat on the ground stunned. "Didn't you put any effort into it?" The glass didn't even get a dent. Facing his subordinates questioning, the bald man was speechless. Faced with his subordinates' doubts, the bald man was speechless. He was using all his might. "What kind of glass is this so strong? Big brother, you're no good. Let me." A burly man picked up a sledgehammer and smashed it hard against the glass. As a result, he flew even further than the bald man. He sat on the ground shocked. Bulletproof glass isn't supposed to be this strong. Another subordinate saw this and said directly, "So damn stupid. Can't you try a different piece of glass?" Then several people circled around and smashed the RV repeatedly. Each of them was exhausted, but not a single small dent was left on the RV. The bald man cursed angrily. "Damn it, what is this RV made of? I guess it can be bulletproof." Just then, suddenly several people rushed out of the darkness. They carried bricks and smashed them hard on the heads of the bald man and his group. The group led by the bald man instantly fell to the ground. They didn't even react to what was happening. Inside the RV, I, who had been secretly observing, was stunned. I wanted to get out of the car to take a look, but the figures quickly disappeared. The next morning, I started the vehicle ready to kill some zombies and get some crystal cores. But 3 acquaintances suddenly rushed out in front of the RV. Dao Yarong, and Jiwin and Lei Jie. Before I could speak, Dao Yarong anxiously shouted at me, "Big shot, help me, big shot." I remained silent, my expression cold. "What does your life have to do with me?" Seeing that I didn't speak, Dao Yarong became a little flustered. "Big shot, we have a mission. Can you come with us? All the spoils go to you." "And spoils?" I asked, raising an eyebrow. "What mission?" "To rescue a water element ability user at the Central People's Hospital. We were given a death order from above. We must bring the person back." "That's the Central Hospital. There are too many zombies inside to kill them all. Isn't this sending us to our deaths? Can you accompany us? The supplies in the hospital are yours, as long as we can bring back the survivor." And Jiwin and Lei Jie looked at me eagerly. Central Hospital is one of the best hospitals in Haicheng. It has a large reserve of medicines, and it's very complete. The medical equipment is also the most advanced. Such good supplies. I must get my hands on them. Then I thought about being able to copy a new water element ability. I immediately asked, "Are we leaving now?" In the ward, Meng Qingyue answered the phone and asked sternly, "Have they left the base?" After receiving a confirmed answer, Meng Qingyue let out a cold laugh. "Meng Shiwan, you won't be able to return alive this time." The next moment, Meng Qingyue looked at Ji Yu Jinshin beside her and replied, "Darling, I've awakened a new ability." Hearing this, Ji Yu Jinshin was stunned. His impatient look disappeared. It was replaced by an eager expression. "What ability did you awaken?" "Precognition ability." Meng Qingyu's voice was clear and cold, without any emotion, because only she knew. She hadn't awakened any ability at all. She had transmigrated back from 10 years in the apocalypse. She knew all the natural disasters that would happen in the next 10 years, as well as various major events. She said this only to cover up the truth of her rebirth. Ji Yu Jinshin leaned in with anticipation. "Precognition ability. Can you predict what will happen in the future?" Meng Qingyue said calmly. "In 10 days, Haicheng's largest power station will catch fire. The fire will spread and damage the lines. The entire city will be completely disconnected from the internet and power. During the extreme heat period, there will be fires of various sizes. The extreme heat will end in 2 months, and then it will start to rain acid. Acid rain is highly corrosive. The soil will be damaged, and it will be impossible to plant for many years. After the acid rain, Haicheng will face a tsunami impact. Then the temperature will drop sharply, entering the extreme cold apocalypse." Ji Yu Jinshin's heart instantly became extremely heavy. Will the apocalypse ever end? Meng Qingyu's eyes drifted. "I don't know. If someone breaks the deadlock, it can end. If no one breaks the deadlock, it may never end. After I am discharged from the hospital, I'll have my dad arrange for me to join the Crystal Core research group. Perhaps that's the only way to break the deadlock. In 10 years of the apocalypse, Meng Qingyue experienced and learned a lot. She made a few suggestions, which might speed up the progress of Crystal Core research. At this time I was on my way to Haicheng Central Hospital. I passed a gas station on the way. I drove the car in and tried it. Fortunately, there was still gas in the tank. In the days to come, gas will become increasingly scarce, so I have to check every gas station I encounter. I took out the remaining 34 crystal cores and expanded the diesel tank and gasoline tank by 17 cubic meters each. After filling both tanks, I continued driving. Where are there many zombies? I'll drive there. I need to accumulate more crystal cores to expand my space. When I get to the hospital, I'll have good medical equipment and medicine. An hour later, I opened the crystal core collection box and counted. There were a total of 63 crystal cores. I summoned the RV's transparent view. I used all 63 crystal cores to upgrade the medicine cabinet. At this time, Dao Yarong called me. Boss, we have completed the tasks you arranged. We are waiting at the location you specified. Before setting off, considering the large number of zombies around the central hospital, my RV alone would not be enough. So I assigned Dao Yarong and the other two a task to get 3 vehicles to cooperate with me. More than 10 minutes later, I arrived at the meeting point. Looking from afar, I saw 3 vehicles parked by the roadside. 2 tracked clearing machines with steel plates on the sides. The steel plates were also welded with long metal spikes and equipped with a huge claw. Lei Jie enthusiastically introduced to me. These were specially designed by them for this operation. They can not only resist zombies, can also clear the road. There is also a large truck. The body and wheels are all welded with a layer of steel plate. Looks like a proper doomsday war vehicle. I took out the walkie-talkie I had prepared, 1 for each person. The tow truck takes the lead. The truck in the middle. I'll cover the rear. Several people got into their respective cars. The small convoy drove on the road. Lei Jie took the lead. He shouted into the walkie-talkie. Heading straight for the central hospital? I replied. If zombies rush over, just crush them into a pancake. Don't stop the car. The 2 tow trucks used their metal claws to move the abandoned vehicles in the middle of the road. Dao Yarong and I drove behind. The further we went, the more congested the road became. Many zombies heard the roar of the car and gathered towards us. The number grew. Dao Yarong shouted into the walkie-talkie. Should we get out and fight our way through? Otherwise we won't be able to get out later. However, as soon as she finished speaking, I was seen standing outside the car with ice cones suspended around me. Dozens of ice cones as thick as fingers shot out, directly killing a large number of zombies. Then I took a small seed from my bag and drew out 2 branches under the catalysis of my ability. I controlled the flexible branches, and when zombies rushed over, I directly swung them at their necks. With a slight tightening, the zombie's head was forcibly separated from its body. Dao Yarong was stunned. Metal element, wood element, 4 elemental abilities. The boss is actually a 4-element ability user. At this moment, the ground suddenly surged, like waves tossing groups of zombies away. Finally, it formed an earth wall to block the zombies. Earth element ability, a 5-element ability user. How many abilities does the boss actually have? Dao Yarong stared at the wall of mud mixed with cement in front of her, her scalp tingling. Until 3 p.m., we finally pushed into the central area. There were a lot of zombies here, dense as if they wanted to pile up. The glass was completely blocked, and the road ahead could not be seen at all. The 4 cars were completely surrounded by the zombie horde. Unable to move, Lei Jie asked for help in the group chat. What do we do next? We can't get in anymore. Dao Yarong and Jiwen were also powerless to deal with the current situation. The only one who can solve the current predicament is probably the boss. At this moment, my voice came from the walkie-talkie. You guys move aside. I'll take the lead. The 3 who received the order responded in unison through the walkie-talkie and immediately took action. Dao Yarong controlled vines to emerge from the driver's cabin and act as windshield wipers, knocking off the zombies climbing onto the front of the car. And Jiwen's earth element ability controlled the ground to shake, shaking off the zombies on the tow truck. Lei Jie's lightning element ability summoned several lightning bolts, striking the zombies in front of the window. The 3 of them used their respective abilities to clear a path for the car. But the front was still densely packed with zombies and abandoned vehicles. And Jiwen asked, what should we cooperate on next? I didn't say anything. I floored the gas pedal and charged towards the horde of zombies. Then an extremely shocking scene unfolded. The vines on the RV surged forward like a swarm of snakes. The moment they made contact, the blocking vehicles disappeared, absorbed into my space. Then the vines swept out, pushing the zombies blocking the road to the sides. I controlled the RV to accelerate through the gap, and shouted into the walkie-talkie for the others to follow. The three of them finally snapped back to reality, quickly started their vehicles, and closely followed the RV. So strong. Boss is amazing. The three of them shouted excitedly into the walkie-talkie. Actually, this is something I just discovered. My strength isn't just having the replication ability, but being able to use multiple abilities in combination. The convoy moved forward slowly and steadily. Just as my abilities were about to run out, we finally reached the outskirts of the hospital. Seeing the words Central Hospital in the center, my expression became serious. Waiting for me inside are not just zombies, but possibly people too. It's been so peaceful all the way here. I don't believe Meng Qingyue would let go of such a good opportunity to kill me. I took out the crystal cores from the collection box. There was almost a whole shopping basket full. The harvest was plentiful. I sat on the sofa and opened the shop. First I bought 2 ability enhancement potions. The remaining crystal cores were still a whopping 736. I summoned the RV's transparent view, and used them all to upgrade the medicine cabinet space. After all the trouble to get in here, we must take everything we can from the hospital. Otherwise after 2 months the tsunami will flood everything and it will all be ruined. Let's go. I gave the order on the walkie-talkie. The vehicles drove out at full speed. Roger that. The three responded in unison, closely following behind. I broke through the barrier, heading straight for the hospital parking lot. The situation here is as I expected. Not optimistic. The zombies in the parking lot were surging, their numbers comparable to a bustling market. Hearing the commotion, they all gathered. Several RVs were instantly submerged in the horde of zombies, unable to shake them off. Lei Jie was horrified. If we get out of the car, we'll be swallowed by the zombie horde. How can we save anyone? Dao Yarong complained. I knew this trip was dangerous before we came. We're all just idiots, purely here to die. And Jiwen said solemnly, now is not the time to talk about that. What do we do now? With their low-level abilities, they are no match for these zombie hordes. Getting out of the car would be a sure death. Just then, the RV's external speaker